JJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you live right now. It's time for UFC 252. We did the prelims, but now we are at the actual thing. The one you pay money for, the one that people don't want to always pay money for and always find cheap ways to find in. Well, guess what? We're back up. We're ready to go. I'm glad you guys are here on Instagram. I'm glad you guys are here on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Feel free to send us some comments. And as we always like to remind you guys, you give us a like and a share, you get a cheers on air. And guess what? Someone got some more beer. So that means that I can actually send out some more cheers to those of you who are watching along with us this evening. Excellent moment. We're coming up next very soon on John Dodson versus Marab Davashili, and I'm very excited for that. But I want to hear who you guys have for that fight. I will be showing you interesting statistics and knowledge that I can pass on to you from the interwebs as it becomes available. So don't go too far out of your way, but make sure that you know we will be having tons of fun this evening. And more importantly, you guys are part of the telecast. So that means if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, all of that good jazz, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you guys are thinking. You guys are a valid and important aspect of our show, and we couldn't do it without you guys. I mean, technically we could, but nobody would be watching then, so that'd be kind of boring. But anyway, yes, we are at the current pay-per-view portion of the telecast. They're getting ready to go ahead and start walking out John Dodson, and they are in the middle of talking about how fearful Marab is as a fighter. So, yikes. And right now, they're zooming in with a crane shot of Megan O'Leary, which means only one thing. They're going to zoom on out to show somebody walking out in just a second, because that has become one of their favorite tricks to do here in the UFC. Meanwhile, we're going to take a moment to show you guys how you voted for this bout. That's right. You guys 100% put in your votes to us on our Instagram page whenever we put up polls, and we make sure to always share those with you guys. So check out the results you gave us for your interpretation of how this one is going to go. You have 43% going for Dodson. However, the favorite, according to our fans right now, is going to be the motivation on Marab, coming in at a very, very high favorite on this one at 57% to 43 for Dodson. You might call it slight, but the fact is less people are familiar with him as they are with Dodson. And usually a lot of our fans will go for the name recognition on these. So that is why we are stoked to have you guys giving us your love, giving us your appreciation. So as we have to remind you guys, give us a like and a share, and we will give you cheers. For example, right now, Dane Donovan gave us a share. So if Dane gives us a little quick like, we'll take care of the cheers for him. But we want to make sure that we're being nice and fair to everybody here involved. What is up, Fernando Kickboxing? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Hope that your students are able to continue kickboxing or whatever you may be doing at this time, because we want to make sure everybody is safe, but at the same point, still being able to get in their training somehow, some way, somewhere. Anyway, that is what we have going on currently. Feel free to send me some notes. I just saw we got a like. Yep, from Dane Donovan. So, Dane, this cheers goes out to you, sir. We want to say thank you for always being there. Thank you for always reminding us that, yes, if you're Jimmy John's, you can get promotional guarantees like that on the mats, so that one day when you use your USC degree, you too, sir, can negotiate for Condom Depot to make their way back on the UFC mats, because that's really what we want to see in this world. So cheers to you and your business venture, sir. The magician is making his way out right now, and I have to be very excited to see how this will play out for him. He has always been somebody who's just been very competitive, even if it is like crazy fucking fights that he has been a part of. So stoked to see how that one's going to go. I see a comment from Dane. Let's see what he says over on this way. Cheers, Rafa Esparza. Cheers to you, sir. Very glad that you're watching along with us and that you are enjoying the festivities. And if you guys, again, give us a like and a share, we will be sure to give you guys the acknowledgement on air. Listen, Condom Depot is the person that got the maddest when they couldn't put their logos on fighters' asses. They were the real tragedy of that whole Reebok situation back in the day. Yeah, no shit, man. You know that the minute that they let them back in, Condom Depot would be right then and there. Like, they know their demo. They know exactly who they're trying to reach on out to. So no shame in their game is what might be their secondary one. And we have a toast coming on up for one Megan Johnson. Megan, I want to go and send this cheers on out to you. First and foremost, thank you so much for always giving us the encouragement and the acknowledgement for this show. But more importantly, thank you for teaching John Dodson how to do this. Like, that's his one pose he does in all of his fights. It's always, and it's like, I know that they call him the magician, and I think that's what he's supposed to be doing for it. But I know that you're the one that taught him it. So cheers to you. Marab Davashili is 29 years old to John Dodson's 35, though he still looks fairly young for his age. John Dodson still looks like he probably dresses up like a Ninja Turtle every year for Halloween, if I'm being honest. You can tell me if I'm going on that. I like this. I'm going with Marab on this one. Well, dynamic fasters will be with the Condom Depot. Absolutely, man. But seeing them go back to Venom, man, that's crazy. One of my friends goes, "You didn't expect that?" And I was like, "I guess I do, but I mean, that shows how many few players there are. Everybody circles around back again, which gives us hope for Condom Depot. One day in the near future, we will see them come back." Marab with the 11-4 record right now. And just to remind myself, because I want to make sure we're not overlooking anything, he is currently the number 15 bantamweight in the division. His losses were against Ricky Simone. What's up, Fabio? And Frankie Sanchez on the recent side. On that respect, comparing that to his opponent, John Dodson, John's most recent loss comes all the way back in 2019, about a year and some change ago, against Peter Yan, which, tough. Jamie Rivera, decision. Marlon Moraes, John Lineker, Demetrius Johnson. So, I mean, dude's got a storied career, but he has a win over Pedro Munoz, Eddie Wineland. His last win, though, was last February, or just this past February, when he got a TKO by punches. And that was a fairly quick affair in the third round with 16 seconds on that. So very interested to see how the magician adapts his strategy for tonight. And we begin the fighting right about 3, 2, 1, and fight begins. Here we go. Again, thank you all for watching along with us. We hope you're having a great UFC 252. If not, it's not my problem. We'll fix it together. You got Dodson in the white, silverish trunks, Davashili in the black trunks, much like his heart. Even looking at the way Davashili is kind of like bouncing and the life in him. I mean, you could tell Dodson's a vet in this sport, but it's almost like he's learned to reserve his energy comparatively. Marab is just kind of moving around, making sure that he's staying fresh, and I'm sure he can keep this pace up for a good while, though. But Dodson kind of wants to plant his feet a little bit. His movement a little more subdued. Want to go ahead and say thank you to According to Woods. We'll give you a cheers on in just a second. Appreciate you, brother. It's interesting to see how both of them are in that feel-out process. We're in a little bit of the shadow boxing to begin with. Not even a kick to begin with. What's up, McNick? We're just watching the beginning stages of the Dodson-Davashili rounds. 1 of 3, 3:40 on my clock right now. Nothing too crazy happening just yet. But you get the impression that the minute that Marab has the ability to unload, if he can connect with Dodson, he wants to make this a very quick affair. Again, a lot of our fans were going for Marab on this one. Nice kick first over by Dodson. Marab very easily kind of checks it. Nothing crazy on it. Got Calvin Cerrone, of course, cheering on his man over on the Twitter sphere. Then you've got Chris Weidman cheering on Marab. Tepid affair thus far in. We're probably going to hit the 2:30 mark. Sooner than later, Marab does rush in, and Dodson does, as much as he wants to prepare for it, he is getting taken down. Now you see Davashili having control of the back, starting to crawl Dodson on over, almost using an entire balance to fall to one side to drag. Yes, and switches to the other side. Now almost gets a better grip off of trying to continuously knee Dodson from the back. Dodson trying to keep his balance about him, does lose it for split seconds, and then regains composure for an excellent moment. This one comes from our good friend, according to Woods, who says, Dodson looks 29. Marab looks like he's 45. I mean, Marab's just collecting Social Security based on the way he looks. Nothing crazy. What's up, Lights Out XF? Good to see you guys. Hope you're watching UFC 252 along with us right now. You are seeing Marab put in some good work against John Dodson with a series of knees that are making it difficult for Dodson to even move right now, as he looks like he's almost Spider-Man crawling along the edge of the octagon. It's very strange. But here we are. Now continuous knees to the back, almost like he's kneeing his just butt and thighs continuously. Almost comes up with a trip here. I won't be surprised if Marab waits, bides his time, and then starts to try and pick him up and slam him down in just a second here. But I think that he's been really good about switching the sides he attacks here. The takedown defense for Dodson has been 4 out of 4 for 100% takedown defense, though. I don't know that you would say he's winning this round. I mean, comically, it looks hilarious to see someone continuously get kneed in the butt. Dodson looking for a Kimura grip right over on his side. Nothing too crazy with it. You will see slowly Marab start to pressure him down. Has to give it up, and the two of them come back over to the center of the octagon with 50 seconds left to go in this first round. Very interesting beginning to their fight. Marab looking loose, almost a little crazy, like a Robert De Niro in A Taxi Driver sort of look to him right now. Well, Marab's going to win this first round, so it's not going to be one to write home to the parents about, but it definitely is happening. What is this? 0-7 for the – yeah. 0-7. I think you mean, 10-7 for him. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a judging criteria for kneeing somebody in the butt multiple amounts of times, but he will definitely walk away with the win in this first round as we take a second to recalibrate. Well, if you're Dodson, you need to switch something up. You can't afford to just have him control you like that. It'd be interesting what they come up with a game plan. 0 for 7 in takedowns. That is true. Very much so. Got it. 0 for 7 on takedowns. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like one of those things where normally you look at it and you say, what's the control? Like, what is he doing in that position? And then the knees to the butt are mostly just trying to get, rabbit punches equivalency. So there's not a ton of damage here by Dodson. It's just, damn, dude, this guy can't get him off of him. It'd be interesting to see now that they go ahead and start to come back over again. Dodson is going to get his fingers ripped off if he keeps grabbing the cage. It says Dobson is going to get pregnant and Marab's knees is going to be the father. That's a good joke. I'm going to leave that one up there for a minute, Woods. Good job to you. Oh, man. All right. Well, Chris Pratt is very happy these fights are going on. They return to the second round. Marab looking very content, coming back over, still loose. Winning the round by controlling, absolutely. I just feel like for him, I think he kind of knows that Dodson is going to use his experience and that you kind of need to control him. You need to wear him down a little bit. We've seen Dodson get slowed down a little bit more in the amount of fights that he's been taking. Dodson looking like he was almost challenging Marab to a skipping contest. Go ahead and mark that one off right now. Anthony Smith says, high-level chess happening here, but here's what's nice about that. In chess, you don't normally get a single leg attempt off of that. Very nice ability for Marab to show he can get that leg and almost lift it up to a single leg takedown. Has to back away, doesn't quite get it fully, but it was an impressive start to it. Nice kick over by Dodson. I think Dodson's first flash of a strike was a kick in the first round. Be nice if he starts to throw that in, maybe to keep that distance from a guy who clearly wants to rush in on him. 338. Dodson, I don't know what the game plan is here for Dodson, though. That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out as we're watching along, is I haven't quite seen what it is he's trying to do. And Dodson now looks like he's lifting him up like he just got asked to the prom and just kind of puts him down. The referee is slightly in the way. Dodson very nicely recognizes the position, gets both hooks over him, and then they kind of break apart for a split second over there. Dodson actually gets one of his better strikes thus far into the fight. It's interesting. I mean, that's a lot of awareness, and that could have ended very badly. In some way, that might have been Marab's bad on how he was trying to place him down. Maybe he got a little too confident on how he was able to effortlessly pick him up. I mean, he had him to a point where he could have Alabama slammed the shit out of John Dodson right there. Last person I remember seeing pick up John Dodson like that was one Andrei Arlovsky back in their gym. Jesus. Go ahead and take that one off. That's a long time for your joke, but we appreciated it, Senor Woods. Now rushing in. Very nice fight back by Dodson, who looks very... Now he's easing a little more into comfort. I mean, is the strategy here for Dodson to play the counterpuncher? Because he does really well when he's balancing up against the cage and has a few moments to go and fight back here. But he's not the one initiating and pushing the action. Marab looks like he's again trying to get lower to change his levels to get these single leg takedowns. Nothing to them, though. What's up, Silos 8A? Glad you can join us. We're watching right now UFC 252. Having a nice time. Hopefully you have a beverage on you. Takedown defense, though. Dodson is 11 for 11, still at 100%. So that is it's a significant thing to do. You are seeing Marab come in, almost in. He does get a takedown and then gets right back up. What is up, Alex Fidel Garcia? Hope you're watching UFC 252 and enjoying it. If you're not, I mean, we'll fix that. This is very fascinating to watch how Marab's getting in on the takedowns, just not doing much with them. Dodson again with the kick. This is where, again, I feel like he's had the most success, is continuing with that kick distance. And I think Joe is making the argument you could potentially see Dodson 2 rounds down now. Marab comes in, trying to go in for a takedown, does not really come up with it. I like that. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you are happy about that, Woods. Thank you very much for the tag. Appreciate you giving us all the love here, buddy. 38 seconds to go, and this has been not the best of fights. But, you know, it's happening. And it is fairly intriguing to see how well Dodson has worked with the takedown defense. Oosh. Okay. Well, this is a good time to remind you guys, if you give us a like and a share on the Facebook, we give you a cheers. And technically, since I've seen a couple different likes and shares from our good friend, Senor Adam Woods, we're going to give you a cheers right at the break over here, which is now. Hey, this cheers goes on to Adam Woods. Congratulations to you, sir, on putting out continuous content. I'm seeing you're doing interviews every single day. And this cheers goes out for you specifically making Noah Tillis seem interesting. It's a hard gig. I've done it multiple times. Not interesting. Just kidding. We love you, Noah. Anyway, cheers to you, Adam. Good for you. And keep putting out the good content, sir. Oh. All right. I am ready for this fight to get a little more exciting. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you as I see it, kids. They are welcome to come watch me grapple and tell me how boring I am. I also don't get paid for a living as a fighter, so that's perfectly fine, but Jesus Christ. That's a weird-ass fight, man. And I think on paper it read fucking weird, but I didn't expect it to be this weird to the point where even when we are seeing those flashes of those flashes of moments being thrown of excitement, just being very quickly stifled back again. So third round for the fight between John Dodson and Marab Davashili. And you have to imagine Marab is ahead 2-0 on these. And yes, I throw shade at Noah Tillis all the time. That guy is still yet to train with me. He was like, dude, come over. Every time I've come over to his gym, he's never trained with me. Bill. Dawson's corner just shouted, he ain't used to this push, to which Ray Lungo responded, you're used to this, Marab, all day. I'm glad that was insightful information that our Twitter sphere is telling us right now. 420 right now. Do what you need to do if you do that sort of a thing. Marab coming in now looking like a little bit more like he wants to strike, just in the off chance. This is some wacky refs who hate that he can't get a full wrestling takedown with control. And it is bringing out a little bit better Dodson too here. Davashili's trying to like juke him out with part of his leg movements. It's like he wants to keep a sleight of hand trick, and I don't see Dodson really falling for it all that much. Like he moves that leg up a little bit, like for a split second, then he moves his shoulders, and it's consistent movement, which does make it a little bit harder maybe to zone in for a target, but it has made, if anything, a little bit more of a tepid response time from one John Dodson. What is up, Max? Thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying UFC 252. We're having a great time thus far in. Of course, if you missed the previous fight, which was Jim Miller and Vince Pichel, go back and watch that. That was a fucking badass fight. Oh, Jesus. This is a dad picking up his kids who doesn't want to go back out of Disneyland anymore. All right, Marab, continuously. I mean, he gets him up, dude, every time for a takedown. I do wonder what would happen if he used a little bit more of the cage, if he was getting that takedown and kind of shoved him over that way. But instead, he always takes him away from the cage. Maybe it's because the first time when he did put him up against the cage, he was using it to kind of get back up, and that he used it almost to signal off some shots there. But every time he puts him down, just really oddly, Dodson just bounces back up like a wet cat. 2:30 left to go. Rushes in for another takedown. Dodson not having any of it. So, again, as we rush down to that last 2 minutes, I don't know what the plan is for Dodson. Takedown defense is not what will 100% win you a fight alone. So that's a little disappointing. All right. Good time to remind you guys, if you're watching over on our Facebook, give us a like and a share, and we will give you a cheers, a toast, like those fighters who get finishes within regulation. Though I will add, it does not look like we're going to have a finish in regulation in this one. They could prove me wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. So just so you guys know, we are having a blast watching the UFC card right now. Even though this fight isn't necessarily my favorite one of the evening, I'm still having a great time along with the folks who are watching along with us and, getting through this one so we can get to the fun parts. And the fun parts include maybe watching Daniel Cormier retire tonight. Who knows? He keeps saying he will. But, yeah. What is up, Michael Jason Maldonado? Thank you very much for the follow. It was just a nice little cheers to you, sir. We appreciate when you guys give us all the love, and always very, very happy to see you guys enjoying what we do on these things. Hopefully you get to see some of the interviews we do with a number of excellent grapplers. We've just totaled up that we've done over 148 different guests on the Grappling Hour, and that is within our first year and 3/4. We're not even at our 2-year mark yet, but I assume that number will at least be in the 160 region by the time we hit our 2 years in October. So very stoked to always have you guys supporting us. It means the world to us. Look at this Brew Jitsu right after my own. Look at all these different beer jitsu podcasts that are coming up now. Just always remember, we were the first to do it. Anyway, last 10 seconds, I should say. Gracie, welcome to the show. I mean, this is the fight I would have liked to have seen, and the two of them kind of taunt each other, and Marab is in the process of yelling. I'm not really sure if he's yelling at Dana as to say that was some sort of impressive performance that should give him better fights, but to each their own, man. Anyways, yeah, if you guys haven't done so, give us a follow at Grappling Hour on all major platforms. So that is YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, all of them. Instagram, that we're also on that right now. And, it'll be interesting to see exactly. Fight of the night. Jesus Christ. Dane, don't make me ban you. I have tools on here that can ban viewers, just so you know that. This is one where I feel like you just announce who won before they even get to the mid-center. Like, you don't even wait for them to get there. You just go, and the winner is this guy. What's up, Casa of BJJ? Stoked to have you joining us along for tonight's festivities. All right. John Anik is doing some shilling for the company. Dana, give me my title shot. Oh, God, I hope not. I hope that's not the performance. It's the title shot. That's so weird. 30-27 for Marab. Cool. Do you think Brock comes in and challenges the winner of DC versus Stipe? No. If only in that the person that chases and gets Brock out of the octagon is going to be USADA. Distance strikes, 24 for John Dodson, 39 clinch strikes for Marab. Takedowns were 2, and takedowns attempted were 20. Like, that's Rafa Esparza numbers on takedown here, kids. That's, man. Oh, God. So bad. I'm going to be so bad at wrestling after the pandemic. Like, I'm already bad. But when we go outside of trying to get it all back, oof. Glad that fight is over. Yeah, me too, bud. It's hard to do these fight companions when you got a fight that's just kind of rough. Dodson had 24 strikes when said Marab would win. Cool. That's awesome, Jeffrey. Look at you. Jeffrey, did you give us a share too? I can't tell. I think you gave us a like. Yes, you did. You gave us a like. Well, if you give us a like and a share, we will give you a toast on air. So I just want to make sure that we are taking care of all of those good folks who take care of us. I think we're going to talk with Marab, and if we do, let's hear what he has to say about how great that performance was, because it wasn't. So, is what it is. I like that on my thing. It shows it is an event. There we go. Marab with his weird Cher disco hair. So Marab says that was the biggest test of his fighting career. I think he's saying Aljo is like animal. And he's saying that he made him like that. So Joe Rogan is complimenting his ability to close the distance. And Rogan is saying, normally Dodson is one of the fastest guys in the division. And he's basically giving props to his coaches, Matt Serra, Relongo. Ian Parker says, how does Marab not have his own cardio system to sell online? Oh, so he's saying he doesn't have to work construction anymore now because he's doing this. Good for you, dude. All right. Thank God and thank UFC. I think we're good here. I think that's a wrap on the coherent things we can tell that he is saying. All right. Well, wasn't my favorite fight, but he definitely looks super impressive at what he does. And it is a skill to make John Dodson look slow. I will say that. Viewing party, join along as we watch DC maybe retire. Boom. That note is going out to our friends over at Verbal Tap. Thank you for watching along. Appreciate you. I like Heyman versus Stipe next. Book it, Raph. I'd love to see it, man. I would watch that in a heartbeat. And he says he wants to get some wins, and we'll see what's going on for him afterwards. All right, so I think we're done with that interview. All right, that's enough time for me to have filled my glass back up with more delicious beer. I'll also pull up who I believe you guys have for the next fight so we can discuss what the breakdown was of our friends who basically were coming up with the betting lines, at least ones that are interesting. Megan, hey, I finally guess I got one right tonight. Thanks, Marab, for Megan. I mean, here's the good news. As a crazy ass, weird, let's never speak of it again fight, but you're right. He did get that one right. We'll take that. That's a win. Champ shit right there. Okay, if you're watching on Facebook, like and a share gives you a toast on air from yours truly, as they are now saying Jesse Caulfield is saying go to DraftKings to bet more money. In case you haven't lost enough money tonight watching this pay-per-view, bet some more money on UFC DraftKings, because that's what people do. Also, they should immediately follow that up with a Gamblers Anonymous tip-off. That photo that they have of DC, though, is a lot. That DC looks like he's a serial killer in a movie that you go, I think the boyfriend's actually not a good guy. I know he seems like the perfect guy, but I think he's gonna be bad. What's worse, Dodson versus Marab or Vera or John Anik's stash? I don't love John Anik's stash. I'll be honest about that. Makes me feel like Stanley Tucci is playing him. I like Stanley Tucci. But when he talks like John Anik, it would be maybe the best you've ever seen win an Emmy. Coming up next, John Dodson, though, versus Marab was not good. So we'll put it like that. Verna's eye. I want to leave her alone. I know I'm already going to see the Rob Schneider memes. Like, I'm all for making fun of people, but that one's too easy. That one's so fucking too easy that it doesn't even present a challenge as a meme. I'll tell you this. She was able to get more arm bars with one good eye than I've gotten in most of my jiu-jitsu career. But yikes. Yeah, she's going to 100% be mentioned and made fun of. Let's see this. Definitely got a post over here. Oh, no. That's pretty funny. I'll have to go back to that one in a minute. Anik, yeah, I like Anik. He's just a robot. It's so funny because, like, whatever the UFC tells you to think with a lot of these guys, that's what they think. And, like, I have friends who are like, what do you think of Anik? And I go, he's serviceable. I go, it's just, I don't feel anything with him because he's just a robot. And I'm sure if I met him in person, I'd be like, dude, you're super good at what you do. Congrats to you. You got a story here with the UFC, so kudos. But, like, when he starts talking, you have to get the impression, does he talk like this off air? You gotta give it up to him for talking like this. I mean, use your TV voice, but at least when you talk to me, you know this is the voice I use on here and on most things I commentate or talk to. So it's just a style preference. But is it one that we get to make fun of and have a lot of fun with? You bet. Yeah, Goldberg Dirty is funny. I just always said that Goldberg is somebody who, even when he wasn't calling it right, you still, like, loved. Like, even when he wouldn't call the move the right thing, just be like, Joe, looking at this right now, that's a Kimura, and that's pretty impressive. And Joe would be like, no, that's actually a knee bar. God damn it. How have you not learned this? Oh, fuck. There was something lovable about him because he just propelled it with a lot of passion. So that's why when they bring in the UFC fighters, I think it takes a long time for them to learn how to do it. I have an appreciation for Dom. Of all the different groups there are, I like this group the best. Because a lot of them just hang on really hacky stuff a lot of the times. And they're learning, so it's no problem. But yes, they did do Goldberg dirty, and good for him, man. Goldberg is now getting out there and working for Bellator. I'm sure he's making more money off of Bellator, for being honest. So I ain't going to hate on that party. That's a good Anik. Thank you very much. The way to do the tuning fork for Anik, which is the way to get a good impression, is to always use the words like when they say, he does the commercial, and it'll be like, and of course, this fight is brought to you by Motel 6. Motel 6 will leave the light on. So, whatever. It's just silly. One day somebody's going to send me a video of Anik being really pissed at me, or when we meet, they'll clip that. It's fine. DC, Rogan, and Bisping. Can't do those guys. Will not. DC is terrible on commentary. Give him a telestrator and have him behind the desk. Fine. Bisping, no, not at all. Bisping is so garbage with not knowing when to be a fighter and when to be a personality. And I think that is a confusing thing as a listener when you're watching a lot of the telecasts. Is you're like, what is this? Try to go on a Tinder date doing the Anik. Well, I'm married, so there'd be a lot of problems with that one as is. Plus, like, why would anybody want to? I don't want to say that. He's got a wife and kids. That's mean. Why would anybody do an impression of somebody else on a date the whole night? It would be a terrible choice for a number of reasons. So, I don't know. We were talking about this, but this is, yes, going into our next fight. Burns versus Benita, and that is going to be 85 to 15%. Yeah, I do like Dom. Dom is unfortunately the know-it-all kid that most people don't like, but I think that he fills in a better void between him, Joe, and Anik. I think that Anik does really well when he gets in and out and lets them kind of breathe, and Joe does the heavy of the lifting, and Dom adds a little bit of the insight. I think DC sounds like your dad's friend who got invited over to a house party to watch a UFC that you're like, could he just shut up now? Dude, like, we know you wrestled in high school. Just, like, we're done. Bisping seems like the guy who, even when he's not drunk, is drunk. So at the very least, the guy who does the homework and sounds like he's smart with Dom is like, I don't hate you. Felder's okay. I haven't fully transitioned into Felder, but I also feel like Felder doesn't work with like a Joe or even like an Anik as much, where he can kind of lean in on that other experience. I'm very picky about this sort of stuff. I feel like most fighters let a lot of stuff slide just because they like fighters, but that's in the cult of personality. It's like why in MMA people are like, when they do dumb things and fighters and grapplers say dumb things, we're like, man, I love that guy. And it's like, they're dumb. Like, they're dumb. But you like them because they fight good. So it's nice to have some distance to be able to say, I kind of see where they're weak. And plus, I speak all of the time. So I'm used to working with people on their speaking skills and styles. Having said that, a lot of them have made inroads. And sometimes the only way to make inroads is to just do it. So that's what you have. What is up, Andrew Gola? 84, good to see you. Joe is the GOAT. Joe is easily the best at this. He just is a very comfort style, man. He's very clean about how he gets in and out. He's worked really hard at it too. Like, go back and listen to those early telecasts with him. I'm not saying they were bad. It was just he had to figure out how to navigate this thing. And I think now that he has his own system, what he does, and just seems so relaxed with it, man. I'm happy for him. I don't want to think of the day when we don't have a Joe, though. I should also point out on this fight in particular, though, it is something to note that, yes, on this one, Daniel Padilla will receive 20% of Herbert Burns's purse because Burns did not make the weight. In fact, came in at 149.5. So not quite on the scale. Whereas earlier, with the Chavez and TJ Brown fight, that was a catch weight at 146.5, which understandable. This is 149.5, which it's harder. I mean, I'm trying to be nice to these fighters with Corona weight, but it's hard to be nice about it all the time. That's why it just sucks when they have to give their money away. But I think that's sometimes the only way to really keep them honest and sincere about how they do their thing. But yes, time to remind you guys, like and share on Facebook gives you guys a toast on air for those fighters who get finishes as a nice way of reminding you guys. If you have questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, hit me up in the comment section. We are keeping this thing going very strong throughout the evening, and we want to make sure that you guys are very, very much enjoying the broadcast. You're an integral part of the show, one might say. So, waiting for a buffer on my stream over right now. My apologies. It is whatever ESPN apps issues are, or Spectrum cable. I don't know who I'm supposed to blame, but I will blame everybody because I am on a split-second delay now, which really pisses me off, especially for a pay-per-view. Oh, no. That's not great. It is showing me pause due to poor connection, so it might actually be my wireless. Hopefully you guys are still with us. If not, let me know in the comment section. Megan is saying, I'm going to go with Burns on this one. That's fantastic. Happy to hear that. Let me see if I can pull that one back up right now. 252 main card. Hopefully, that is not going to go the bad wayside. Either way, super stoked you guys are joining us. Look at Vince Pichel looking like a Mario brother. Super stoked and super happy you guys are joining us. Let me know what's happening as my internet is reconnecting. Damn, dude. I think I may have to reset my cable. Interesting note. All right. So let's give it a minute, see if we have to reset it. If we do, my apologies to you guys. It looks like I'm back on here, so that's good. And I just need to get it back on the pay-per-view. Hopefully it got over whatever schizophrenic little note it was going on right now with. But if you're going with Burns on this one, I like that as a idea. I don't know if I love it as a pick. Sometimes when they come in fat, it's a little harder to gauge. So, I will think about it. I don't have a definitive up or down on this one. I'm going to see if I can call this one up on my phone then, since it is being a big yacht face. Nope, not on cell phone. Let's go there. Anyway, you guys, all right, cool. Well, who else do you guys have right now? Let me know how you guys are feeling on this fight, and we will go right then and there. And it started. I have 4:43 on my clock, and you are seeing, nice back and forth between these two. Solid takedown over here. Attempt to get right back up very quickly. And you're seeing Burns in the yellow trunks and Bonita and the black trunks, and Herbert Burns is working on a back take. Doesn't quite get it over here. Now you're seeing a very quick response time by Bonita, who understands maybe I need to start throwing some bombs to make this jiu-jitsu guy not attack me so harshly. Well done by him. Pulled a guard right now. What's up, Laura Beth Carter? Thank you very much. Gabe, thank you for your like. If you guys give us a like and a share, we will give you guys a toast on air. That is right. I have a beer in hand. It is like right here. And we will give you guys a cheers toast. So don't go any further. Make sure you're watching along with us. I'm also going to pull my cable, just in the event I need to go ahead and watch off of my phone because my TV is acting up with that reception. So good news, everybody. I came prepared. All right. Right now, thus far in, you are seeing Burns right underneath Pineda, who isn't inflicting a ton of damage, but is getting a lot of good control time right up top. Burns trying to grab the wrists, do what he needs to do to create a little bit of distance. And now you are seeing him push him away with the leg, kind of kicking him away. Split second, Pineda comes back in and retaliates with a large punch to the face. Now, for a split second, Burns was almost going to take over an omoplata, maybe even trying shooting up a triangle over there. Doesn't get much going for him. Pineda starting to throw away both the legs and the arms over to the side. And now some hammer fists by Pineda, who has to be very careful with all these guys who've been looking at that leg lock attack and trying to tag over on some of the knee bars there. Video is not clear for you. Okay. If you guys have any issues with your video clarity, please let me know. Cool Eye Korean. What beer am I drinking right now? Right now I'm just keeping it simple. Tonight's just melon cart. I have a whole bunch of this shit in the house, so I gotta get rid of it. Normally I have different IPAs that I bring in and rotate every single week, but I was actually giving away those to a friend. One of the guys who does striking privates with me is a huge IPA guy, so I try to give him my best stuff. And as a result, I'm always like, shit, I need to drink something on here. But yeah, we always switch out our IPAs every week. But once I started taking privates with him, I was like, I better give him the good stuff. And he's so nice. So that's what we got going on right now. Unable to play video on that side. Good thing it's on my phone. Jesus. Nice control over here, though. He is drinking that Bud Light play. No, when I was in college, I drank Bud Light a lot because it was water. And that was a good, like, entry level beer because I lived in the Midwest, too, when I was first starting to drink. So it made sense to always drink something that was cheap and easily refillable when you are broke AF. Then when you start to get money, you appreciate the finer things in life. And you go, you know, this IPA is a little bit better. A lot less beer, a lot bigger buzz. So I'll go with that. I like this thus far in. I mean, Burns has closed the guard over here. Pineda's starting to slow down a little bit on his side on output for this first round. You're seeing, at least with Burns, starting to use his ability to start getting there. Bud Light's so gross. I mean, Dane, yeah, dude, but when you're in college, you drink gross beer. Do you not know that? Oh, you're at USC now. See, you don't know things, man. That's what they have to teach you over. And of all places, USC is not going to tell me how to party. Thank you. A long time ago, you kids knew how to party, but now, not so much. You guys have enough issues going on without a full house mom telling you guys, hey, listen, get my kid in and give her some of that Bud Light. Because that's all I can afford with how much I'm paying to get her in here. You know what I'm saying? We reach the end of the round right now. Raph, what is your take on Voodoo Ranger? Video ended. Did I reach the full hour? Oh, I did. Yikes. Oof. It's all right. That's my note. Thought share to IG. Sorry, I didn't keep my eyes on that Instagram. I forgot they cut at the end of the hour and it didn't give me a warning. It just said, oh, you're done. News to me. Let's go there. There was a problem. Please try again later. Oh, fuck. Well, that's not great. Share? Damn it. I guess it's not going to save that one. Let's download video, I guess. Couldn't save. Well, then what the fuck? Delete. I guess we're going to keep the party going over on that side. Jesus Christ. This thing going to get on my last goddamn nerve. All right, Daniel is a beast. That is from Derek Lewis. Right now, we're gonna go live. Voodoo Ranger, I know what you're saying. I'm in the process of fixing this. Give me 1 second to fix this Instagram thing, and we'll be right back up. Yeah, Voodoo Ranger's fine. I don't necessarily have a up or down against it. I also drink basically any beer that is in front of me. We're having trouble starting your live stream. Interesting. I think my overall internet is just being a bitch. Now Herbert Burns coming in with nice lockdown, looking to take the back over here. And that is a great way to defend your back. It's just by kneeing someone in the thigh. It seems to make people way less prone to wanting to take your back there because they can't really get all the way through it. Like, this is like prime twister control if somebody ever wanted one, but I don't think he's going to go here because most fights don't just let a twister happen. It's very rare when it does. It's like a little unique unicorn of its own kind. But either way, very stoked. All right, Herbert Burns now starting to turn the tides on Pineda, who isn't necessarily struggling as much as he is just trying to find his way back into the like a guard here of some sort, but it does not look very promising. Now Herbert is at a full mount. And actually, no, I can't even say full mount. I have to see that it almost looks like it's a little grapevine here. So, I mean, whatever mount he is in, it is a very, very dangerous one. You can almost see him starting to isolate the legs here. You're seeing him start to, if he's able to move. Hey, what's up, everybody? Back on Instagram. This is your good friend, Rafa Esparza. We're back with our next segment of UFC pay-per-view coverage. This is UFC 252. We're in the middle of watching the Burns-Pineda fight right now as Pineda fights his way back up, almost trying to get a bit of a big bully brother takedown that does not work for him. And Herbert Burns is consistently on the back over here. Now, Pineda is able to reverse it. Look at this. Pineda's now started work from half guard and getting in some punches over here on Burns' face as if a way to remind him, hey, listen, jiu-jitsu is great, but sometimes getting punched isn't. So that's interesting to see happening. He's trying to block a number of them, some being more successful than others, though. All right. Well, this is a better fight than the last one. We have to make sure we are acknowledging that one because that last fight was not great. Pause due to poor connection. Jesus Christ. Okay. Fascinating. I am going to be watching this one from the comfort of my phone then. It seems like it has become a two-way street on this thing. Look at this, though. Pineda now on top and has the ability to hit some really nasty elbows here and kind of a crucifix from top. Burns doing a really good job to try and get out of it, using the cage to kind of Three Stooges his way around it, but now he's just eating elbows, which is going to be really bad for him. These bridges are not doing what he wants. And Pineda taking every bit of advantage of it, and there's still another minute to be left in this round. This is, I don't love seeing this position for this guy. He is almost finding his arm untrapped out of it, but now the referee's coming back in just to make sure he's doing okay, because that is a lot of damage to be taking in that position. This is Pineda really starting to go even further on separating the distance here. Jesus. There's still 30 seconds of this left. I don't know. They may get involved. Yep, the referee is going to stop it as Burns is kind of on Dream Street and Pineda looking like a serial killer, realizing he just finished somebody. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Burns is a little wobbly. I don't disagree with that call in the least. I hate seeing people get in that crucifix position and not being able to move and just eating it. And Burns was doing he was in that fight for a bit, man. So kudos to him. That's terrible to see. But he was like, hey, what's up, guys? This has been pretty good. I like the way things are going out right now. You guys having a good day? Oof, they're going to show a replay of that entire thing. But yes, yeah, they're going to go ahead and wave that one off. Let us give some acknowledgments right now. I'm going to do a couple shares just to make sure we keep this party on going. I want to make sure you guys also get the opportunity to throw in your comments, your questions, your concerns. If you give us a like and a share on Facebook, then we give you a toast. So just to remind you guys, that is essentially what we're looking at right now. Oof. Yeah, that wasn't great. So we're going to hear in a second, and I don't want to make sure. Oof. Delete. Yeah, I think the Instagram's going to go to a dead. All right, that's perfectly fine. We will use it for other opportunities and things. And it does look like Burns is back up and alive, so that is important to note. Glad to make sure he is doing okay. We will see what he has to say in a moment. But since now I'm going to have to listen to the post pressers without having the luxury of my TV being far enough away where the computer may think that it is picking up parts of the UFC fight, I am going to need to put on my headphones so that it does not pick up like we are broadcasting the fights here. Like it almost did right there. See? Speaking of which, was I playing my Spotify? Oh, sweet. For a split second, it was playing my Spotify, which was playing Run the Jewels. Hilarious. All right. Eek. Oh, I know what I can do. They're playing some DJ Shadow over there. Very nice of them. Speaking of that, kind of looks like War Machine. Ugh, I don't want to say that, bro. That comes with a lot of baggage on that one. It's like, imagine telling somebody, could you ever believe a guy named War Machine would ever have this tragic of an ending? It's like, yup, who saw that coming? Yikes. So again, even as they're doing the like play-by-play right now, like Dominic Cruz does a really good job of walking us through the play-by-play of the recaps. Doesn't waste any time, just gives us the fucking plays. Good for him, man. That's how you can tell the experience is there. Now they're going to interview with him in just a second. They call it the post-fight interview zone? Is that an actual thing they call it, John Anik? What a crazy ass thing to call it. All right, Joe Rogan with Danny right now. Danny looks like he is on cloud nine with a whole bunch of uppers. His eyes, in rough shape, dude. Oof. It is hard to look at that eye right now. It's got like a cut over it. And he is saying, y'all are keeping to count him out something money. I wonder where Machine did today. Joe was asking, how does it feel like to come out of that one triumphantly? And he says he cut 27 pounds in 2 weeks. So he said, hey, man, I knew I was going to get tired, so I was just trying to stay calm, and Herbert is just a beast. Oh, man. I mean, Joe was asking, how pissed were you that he didn't come in at the right weight? And I got to say, man, the Joe Rogan that's interviewing here is way more focused than the Joe Rogan that's normally in the ring. Maybe it's because they have actually more time where they don't have to do a walk-off around it. Dane, I put up on here, it says in the zone, but I'm putting that up as a reminder to come back and address that because I have a funny mention on that in a second. Because, it's not the only thing that we see that gets called in the zone. Joe is now complimenting his lockdown or his crucifix position over here. Oh, he was saying he couldn't see right off the back once his eye got shut. So now Joe is giving him all the props in the world for earning his fight all the way back to the UFC. He says he's getting older, but he's getting better. And mind you, this is a PFL vet who fought his way back into the UFC after going through Fury and LFA and Bellator and Legacy. Like, this is the last time he was in the UFC was back in March 15th of 2014, which, by the way, is my wedding anniversary. So that's pretty funny to know because it's March 14th, actually. Oh, no, it wasn't the Dos Anjos fight. The Dos Anjos fight was the one that it was supposed to be, so I got to double check that. But I thought we were on a UFC fight night. Nah, it's not the same one. My apologies. Mine was the next year, but it's the 15th. Okay. I knew we had a pay-per-view on our wedding date, but it's the 3/14/15. Yep, I'm a year off. All right. So anyways, they were very quick to put up the result on that one. So the reason I left in the zone up, Dane, is as follows. If you ever watch on flowgrappling.com, they do a segment where they say, hey, if you ever want to catch like their version of a red zone when they have multiple mats going on, they refer to it as the flow zone. So post-interview zone is not the worst name, considering that Flow Grappling refers to it as the flow zone, which makes it sound like the advice we give to young ladies when a certain aunt is coming to visit. Like, it's so bad. It's so dumb. And every time I hear it, I go, you guys in the meetings didn't have any other name. The only thing I can think of that's comparable is I went to Illinois State University, and our mascot was the Redbird. And whenever you'd see something, you'd see like a little poster and they want to put school spirit. So they'd be like, spread. And you go, what is it? Well, they'd say, spread the red. And I said, could we take that down? Posters all over. Nobody ever thought about that. I said, that's spread the red. Not my favorite. And all of us would have a great laugh at our school's expense. But it was really sad to sit there and be like, yep, that's our school saying spread the red. We're a legitimate academy. Trust us. Anyway, good time to remind you guys, if you guys a like and a share on the Facebook, we will give you guys a toast on air. So that is a promise that we always intend to keep as best we can. So we hope that you guys are enjoying the festivities that we are doing over here on today's UFC 252 broadcast. Yes, spread the red. You 100% heard that right. I think I have a photo of it somewhere in my phone somewhere in here. Just because we laughed our ass off it. How stupid it was. My wife and I still to this day, when we drive up.
The mascot was the big red dude.
You're talking about the Redbird?
No, the mascot was the big red blob thing.
The Spread the Red was ISU. You're talking about, yeah, you're talking about Western Kentucky's, which is Big Red. You're not wrong on them both being horrible, but my wife was slowly starting to wonder which one's which. But yes, undergrad was Big Red. Grad school was Big Red. Undergrad was the Redbird. But Spread the Red, worst promotional campaign, I think, in history. I can't prove it, but in my head, it's the worst campaign that the history has ever presented to us. So anyway, we're checking the connection. We're going to try and get back on our Instagram while it checks our connection. I'm going to check what we have over here on our ESPN. We're having trouble starting your video. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to work. Sorry, Instagram, not happening. If you don't chew Big Red gum, then yeah, I got you. Oof, let me make sure we are keeping our... Oh, I got to send actually our promotional things. So as a reminder to you guys, if you have not gone over to promote our friends, Nogi BJJ Gear, go use the promotional code Grappling Hour 15. Take 15% off of whatever you guys put in your cart. And we hope that you promote them because they do a good job of giving us love on the show. It says UFC Irvine are now the Anteaters. Still not as bad. Nope. Big Red used to get mocked all the time on SportsCenter, which as a school, when we would watch it, we just go, yeah, we just got to eat it. We can't, they're not wrong. They should 100% mock our giant lovable blob of a it looked like a ripoff of Grimace from the McDonald's toys. And I always felt like, how has McDonald's not sued us? So we've lived really bad mascot lives. But then anytime somebody has a really good mascot, all I ever think of is, what does that mean? That's not that impressive. Mascots are supposed to be laughed at. So yeah, I might even do a quick Google search to see if someone else took a photo of that. Because for years, me and my team used to just laugh our ass off at that. All right, we're waiting for this to get back on board, but I am doing the last calculations over here. We did a nice giveaway as well. So for those of you who did participate in that, we'll have an update for you probably tomorrow at some point as to who ended up winning that one. So we're doing our best to make sure you guys are kept abreast of all of that information while I call back on my ESPN app. Hopefully now it'll work on my TV. If not, I guess I'm just watching it on my phone. So let's see if that works any differently. UFC main card. The event has started. So I think you're lying here. Anyway, who do you guys have in this next fight? While we've got a second, I'm going to change the banner. We got the incomparable Junior Dos Santos versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So let me know who you are supporting in this fight. It's an interesting fight. I mean, Junior Dos Santos looks great again, and I'm happy that the guy is in good shape. Is being in good shape good enough to take on a guy who's got massive power right now and has a lot of momentum going on his side? I leave that question to you guys. But also, we're having a blast with you guys. If you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will give you a toast. I'm also probably going to share this on my area, like on my show, on my regular commenting areas. But we're keeping an idea on how many of you guys are sharing it to make sure to give you guys a toast as properly as we are supposed to. So our thanks again to Dane, Megan, Adam, all of you guys for sharing it on the Facebook thus far in. Is your internet down too?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. I think I'm only... It's the heat?
Yeah.
I'm just hardlined in, so...
I mean, my iPad's still working, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn off my iPad then.
But my TV stopped. I mean, if you turn off the TV and turn it back on, I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I think it's kind of come back a little bit, but...
It's been really struggling over here. I'm just glad that I wasn't alone on this. Look at that. Look at that power stash, though, on JDS. He can pull that off. Coming out with some nice Rocky theme song music. Look at you guys all watching around, showing up from both Facebook, YouTube, and the Periscope. To everybody watching on Periscope, hello. Hopefully you guys are excited for the rest of the fights that we have left. We have 3 fights coming up before we call it a day, but the next one is the return of the former champ, Junior Dos Anjos. Or Dos Santos, sorry. There's a Dos Anjos as well, but I haven't seen him in a bit. So here we go. Junior Dos Santos, and the percentages go as follows. 54% of you feel that Dos Santos is going to win, while 46% feel that the momentum is with Jairzinho. So, what does this mean? Well, it means that a lot of our fans have been like on split close decisions throughout the evening. Furthermore, it also means that we might be looking at at the very least, some upset fans who may not know what could be coming. So stay tuned. We are in for a very interesting turn of events as this is going to go on. And as I was talking with my wife, maybe you guys heard a little bit of that. But yes, California has had some rolling blackouts, is because there's a crazy amount of heat out this way. So they're doing their best to combat it. And as a result, sometimes there's just going to be energy and power going out. So hopefully that has not happened to us any further here, but we're hard lined in for the connection we have right now. And, at least you guys have a mascot. My university is just a color. Yeah, it's a tough life, dude. Anybody who's gone to a smaller school, we've always been like, man, sometimes it's crazy to go through that. Let me see here. Man, those Kane wars he went through, those fights are still hard to watch. Yeah, nobody will ever forget the 2011 premiere of the UFC on Fox that ended in such short fashion. They literally promoted that for as long as they could for one fight. One fight. Remember that? And then it ended in 15 seconds, and all of us went, that was not good. So, actually, normally my eyesight, I don't care for now. Thank you. Normally my eyesight or my eye line is looking at the TV that way, but I have the tool where I can put this with my phone right in front of the camera, so it looks like I'm staring right at you guys. And that's right. I'm going to look deep into the hearts and souls of our fans that I normally have to look over to the side on. See? Ingenuity, people. So you have power go out or internet connection issues. We find ways to reserve our energy and get around it. And now we're actually at a better eye line. So if I'm looking a little off center, I'll be able to look both at you guys and the TV, aka my cell phone, now taking the place of the main broadcast area. Okay. So we're beginning the first round. Dos Santos in the white trunks, Rosenstrunk in the greenish ones over here. And let me see over here. That rematch he had with Kane was such a beating. Yeah, I know, dude. That one. Rough. However, not rough. Looking in pretty good. Dos Santos is trying to keep some movement here. He's still a little flat-footed. But he is moving back and forth a little bit, which is nice. Gets a nice punch to the midsection. Comes on over. Rosenstruck is looking just a little tentative here. I think for a split second, he's just trying to figure out at what point he's going to drop the bomb on him. So far, so interesting to see. I don't know, man. It's hard to root against Dos Santos given his history. I don't know how much longer I want to see him fight for, but Dos Santos's career, if you look at his last couple fights, which are of interest to note here, though. Last couple fights include losses to Curtis Blades and Francis Ngannou. And both of those, talk about hard to watch. He does have a win over Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa as long as Blagoda Igorov, but he has a loss over Stipe as well as Alistair Overeem. So he's fought a bunch of people, man, and it just begs the question, like, what do you need to do? Like, what do you have to prove left in this fight game when you have monsters like Rosenstruck who just basically are sent out there to annihilate, dude? Like, this is all upside for one Jairzinho. Like, this dude is in right time, right place. This is huge. I mean, if he wins, it would be great for him. He's only got one loss, and that's against Francis Ngannou, and that was back in May. Otherwise, he's got knockout wins over Alistair Overeem and Andrei Arlovsky, Alan Croter. Like, he's got the momentum and a kickboxing record that is also fairly impressive as well, if you look at it as a composite. So they're not giving Dos Santos an easy fight here, not in the least. And you would assume the expectation is they're almost feeding Dos Santos to him to kind of raise a little bit more notoriety for a new UFC fighter, which fine, but still, yikes. All right, 2 minutes left to go in this first round. I don't know that we're seeing anything super crazy in this first round, though. It's kind of interesting. Look over both of them. Taking a moment. Nice kick by one Cigano. The tension in the air when two big heavyweights start moving and throwing by touchy-feely. Not sure if Rosenstruck's brain is good from his last knockout. Maybe. I don't know. I think the one thing that he is conceding a little bit here is just a lot of respect to Dos Santos, which sometimes comes back to haunt people. You know, I mean, obviously you can't discount Dos Santos's knockout power, but even that is a little bit, waned in certain ways and fronts. So here's where we start to see, all right, how much control and composure can he have? And you see Junior Dos Santos doing a very good job of fighting out of it and making sure he doesn't stay there too long because he knows he'll pick up damage. Dan, you continue by saying, rather soon to be back in there. Yeah. But what else are you going to do during quarantine? Not fight? Stupid. I guess we're at a weird place where what else are you going to do? Like, if you were at a point where you have the ability to fight and you are a fighter, I guess this is the time to take advantage of it. I just feel like everybody comes with an asterisk. Like, from March to whenever this thing is over, anybody who has a win, ooh, nice moment to take a break. Ooh, Cigano is feeling this one. The way he's grabbing, though, makes it seem like he's unlocking a combination here. Oh, yeah, that does hurt. Yeah, I get that. That's not the best. Let's see him take a moment to get himself back together there. I'll give him that. Let's see. I'm going to go and share this a couple more times so that people know to watch along with us. Here we go. Back to the action with 6 seconds left, and we will see a second round. Nice bad kick from Dos Santos. Look at him. Coming in with some new tricks here tonight. Junior looks in shape for this fight. Absolutely, man. That's what I was complimenting. Also, not bad dance moves. Didn't think that guy had it in him. You know, it's great when Dana and the UFC are sharing his soft shoe skills. Going out there and being on what? Does it look like? Was he on like a international version of Dancing with the Stars? I don't know. But I always laugh when I go, I have no idea what the context of this is, but I will have a good appreciation for how silly it is. Let's see here. Personal life. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where he could have been. I might have to look that one up. Let's see if Junior Dos Santos was on a Dancing with the Stars or what the fuck that clip was, because it really threw me off. I do see Dancing with the Stars. Oh, yeah, he was on Watch Junior Santos Dancing with the Stars debut. Look at him. Yeah, he was on Brazil's Dancing with the Stars. It's just the same as the United States one, just spicier. You would need to reset probably the wireless one. So the green one that's flashing. Yeah. So hopefully this does not kill my stream. If it does, stay with me, your friends. We are making sure that we are not losing full power on this one, but resetting the wireless capability over at the house because of the small connection over on our side. But I am hardlined in, so I am seeing it take a moment to find the wireless, but we should still be okay. Just double checking on my side. If you guys have any connection issues, just let us know. But so far, so good. And again, second round in more of the same of what we saw in that first round. Very tentative. Mine's fine. I'm okay. Good countering over here, though. Nice overhand right by Junior Dos Santos, finding in his angle at the right time. Yeah, I think at some point we're going to see a rush in by Jairzinho. I just don't know exactly when he's going to kind of put all of his chips in and rush in, but you do see him cautiously trying to study Junior Dos Santos here. And it's not like there's a ton of movement coming toward him or anything. It's just him saying, like, I don't know what this old man's capable of. Also, we got a poll. I don't know why people are still voting in our poll about who they think is going to win, which is always fun because I do notice when the polls stop, when the fights have already taken place and they know who won and they go to vote. Happens all the time. But I know who those people are. That's the beautiful part. Literally take a little snapshot of those folks and be like, have no honor, these people. We are at the midway point of the fight. I mean, it's better than the Dodson fight, so I'll say that. But that wasn't a mark that I think we were hoping to cross over. I thought we were looking for a little bit higher caliber on this one. Man. Every time Dos Santos ducks and throws a punch, it is interesting. He does connect. It's like he knows exactly where to stop to get that extra range to find the angle he needs. Yep. Jairzinho now getting a little bit more confident on each time. I want to say thank you to everybody sticking with us over on Facebook. Y'all are our ride or dies. You know, we love you guys so much. If you guys give us a like and a share on Facebook, we give you a toast on air. So don't go anywhere. Of course, now we're starting to see Jairzinho unload on Dos Santos, who's trying to get up and he's not able, and they are going to call and wave this one off, which means we have some more cheers to do on this one. Woo! Just a slight slip up here. Man, talk about just the smallest of inches in this game. Wow. Okay. Now, Jairzinho coming over to take a seat with him. That's pretty cool. Clips him over on the edge of the cage. Junior trying to get back up. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, man. It's just for a split second. Like he was still in that, man. Eek. I want to see them sitting together. I want to see like a replay of that happening with the two of them. That to me was, the two of them just being besties. So I think we're seeing the reset might have been effective. I'll be able to tell on my iPad. Yep, I think we're back up and operational. Thanks to producer wife Kelly for making it so that we're back to normal. All right, I turned off the internet on my iPad. But I will turn it back on. I'll switch this so I can hear what they are talking about in the post-fight interview. I think we will hear him be quite conciliatory to Cigano's boxing style and saying, hey, listen, I didn't want to overplay that hand. If I was not playing that fight smart, I could have been very, very badly affected. But I waited my time. I was patient. And, it seems like Junior Dos Santos was very, very nice with him. Selfie games coming up real quick for those guys. Putting in the headphones to make sure I hear what's going on. But it's a good time to remind you guys, we got a couple cheers to make up for. So we got a Danny Padilla or Pineda that we have to go ahead and take care of. And then we have a Jairzinho Rosenstruck to give some props to in a moment. So not lost on me on what we have to catch up on, friends. So let me go ahead and make there. Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Man. Overall, though, I mean, I get it, man. I knew that he wanted to be really calm and calculated with this fight. You don't want to overplay your hand with Dos Santos. Good for him, though. All right. We're going to go ahead and now give it a couple more shares and get this ready. Uriah Hall putting out. Damn. Let's hear what Joe and Jairzinho have to say. Weird. I like that they quote people on the Twitter that have nothing to do with the sport that are like, Jim Rome calling him out would be like, damn, that's impressive. Like, what does Jim Rome know about our sport? Why are we quoting Jim Rome? I like him just fine. Not a real big leading voice, in my opinion. Rogan is asking him, how does it feel like to be back in the UFC fighting after just losing in May? Jairzinho says he wanted to fight as soon as he lost, so he wanted to get back there as soon as possible. He says he needed this win to get back in there, so good for him. And Joe is saying, hey, listen, dude, I follow you on your Instagram. I watch you. You are a monster. Give us your thoughts on who you'd like to see fight in the fight in the octagon. All right. So, he's saying you can find me back at the gym. Instead of his variation of you can catch me outside. So that is how he is ending his chat with Joe Rogan. So we're going to let that go on autopilot while we catch up on some cheerses. All right. Playing that one to go over that way. Good for those guys. Boom. All right. So what do we have to catch up on right now? We have to catch up on first a toast. This one goes out to one Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Man, what an impressive display by you. Not only did you get out there and avenge losing back in May, but you did it in very, very capable fashion, taking out a former champ and a very symbolic one at that. So congrats to you. We look forward to seeing what happens, man. Way to keep down, grind, get out that next win. Impressed, man. And also, cheers to you also for like going over to have like a buddy moment with Jair Dos Santos. That was pretty cool. I like that a lot. Eek. So that is the latest fight that we had go on right now. The next one, of course, is going to be your co-main event, everybody. Sugar Sean and Marlon Vera. A lot of people have been excited about this one, and with good reason. So much to the point where even, again, our fans, you know, they were messaging me in private and telling me, hey, listen, dude, this is a fight I'm maybe the most excited about. Granted, all respect to DC, all respect to Stipe, but there's something about this one that has made people super stoked. And if you look at their resumes, it kind of makes sense. Here's the breakdown that we have online. We have a 56% of our audience that is going for O'Malley on this one. 44% for Vera. So, be interesting to see how this one plays out. Very close to the vest for a lot of our friends watching. And it'll be interesting to see how y'all see this one play it out. So, I right now am looking around to see what the last numbers were. Because you can tell the numbers did change ever so slightly for a number of other fights, but this one stayed about the same. I only see a 55% for people who voted in late. But there are a lot of people who wanted to make sure their voices were heard and they got their votes in. And like we said, every time we watch these things, we always see who the late votes are coming from, because we always appreciate everybody who votes for all of the fights, not just the ones that they kind of know. These are the guys that we love who put it all out for every single fight on the card. And those are the people that we have true high amounts of respect for. So give y'all the credit that you guys deserve, and rightfully so on this one. Thus far in, having a pretty good night, you guys. All right, let's go ahead and kill that right there. We're going to return back. We're going to make sure to remind you guys, if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we give you a toast on air. So do not forget, that is what we have for y'all still ahead of us here right now. We've got the co-main and then the main event, and they are promoting the next couple of fights coming up for you guys. So do not forget those things. So you can tell when you're not training as much, is you literally just sit here and feel like, damn, dude, I am stiff. I've trained a little bit, and it's been nice to do that. But even then, my body's like, we're not back to normal, bro. You're not quite there. All right, who do you guys have in this next one? Hit me in the comment section. All right, we should be all set on our sides. Hopefully you guys are having a great UFC night as well. We're going to give a few more shares. And it says a lot of people are now saying, the big moment is out there for Sean O'Malley. And I have to agree with that one. And this is the fight you didn't really get to see, or the moment in the fight you really didn't get to see all that much. So I'm going to see if I can share this with y'all. We're going to go ahead and share another portion of the screen. Application window. Let me see. Should be. Yeah, that's the tweet deck. So look, this is what they were doing behind the scenes when they had a moment to go ahead and catch up after the fight was done and over. Like, look at that. That's pretty cool. To go over and have a great moment with your opponent. Like, you don't always see that in fights, but to get to see a moment between you and a fellow fighter like that shows it's more than just a silly thing that people just talk shit about. So that was actually really cool to see. In the comment section, here's what we got. Big test for Sugar Sean O'Malley. Absolutely. It's also just a big test for the UFC's next superstar. They want him to win this one. I have not heard the UFC get super excited to be like, man, look at Marlon, Vera. Yay. Like, they want Sugar Sean to be their next Conor McGregor. 252. Co-main and main coming up next. Join in. All right, that is now shared to my personal page. So we are doing our job of making sure that people know, and doing a decent job of making sure you guys are taken care of all night. And you know what? Let's break. I agree. Skinny Connor. I mean, just froey Connor. That's what they're looking for at this point. They're just kind of looking for like anybody who kind of reminds them of Connor. They lose their proverbial shit with. I think next week is a return to Third Coast Grappling, so very excited to see how that one comes in. Interesting. All right, kids. We're probably going to try and go back on Instagram for these last two fights. So stay tuned, stay ready, stay foolish, everybody. Let me go ahead and make sure I have also shared this out in the last couple phases. And we got Marlon Vera walking on out right now. Boom. Let's go back live. All right, hey everybody on Instagram. It's your good friend Rafa Sparza. I'm happy to be back. We're here for the last two fights of the evening. You get your co-main and your main event of UFC 252. Right now, Marlon Vera is walking to the octagon. As he makes the walk, we're going to remind you guys, if you want to watch on one of our other channels, you're more than welcome to. It's at Grappling Hour on all major properties. Super stoked you're here. And Marlon Vera versus Sugar Shane O'Malley. A lot of people have been talking this one up. A lot of you guys have been sending me notes telling me that you're stoked for this fight. You're excited for this fight. You want to see how this fight goes. And I cannot agree with you guys more. I might be more excited about this fight than I am the main event, but the main event has drama going for that one. So it's a little bit of, even in there. We're asking everybody to say who they think is going to win. We've already heard that from our friend Dane Donovan, who is saying that this is a big test for Sugar Shane O'Malley. So Sugar Sean, let's see, man. Let's see how this one plays out for him. Skinny Connor indeed getting a big test here tonight. So that is the news and information side of what we have for you this evening. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your evening. If not, it's not on me. You guys are also responsible for your own enjoyment. I am just here as a guide to walk you through this thing called life. We are also noticing that the evening has been progressing quite nicely. We've had another, what is this? Shoots Jason Perillo cornering Vera. Yes. Vera trains on a number of spots, so it's really cool. What's up, Frank Ease 450? Good to see you. Hope you're watching along with us. UFC 252. We're about circling the tail end of the evening as Sugar Sean makes his way out to the octagon. Huge test for him tonight. We'll see how he does with it. Sean definitely chilling right now. I can't hear what his walkout song is. So give me. Yeah, I don't want to listen to that too much. If the microphone picks it up, it's going to think I'm showing the fights, which I'm not. We've done a number of these in the past. Have not shown footage from the pay-per-view. That's not what we do. It's just not how we do this. Not going to waste it on one thing. Woo! All right. Hit me in the comment section, guys. Who do you got on this fight? I want to know. I want to know right meow. Hit me. Do you have Marlon? Do you have Sugar? Hit me in the comment section. All right, couple things to note on this one. One of the promotional aspects they're talking about with Marlon Vera is interesting when you're building up somebody who you're playing up, but they were playing how he was disappointed with the Song Yadong fight and the decision on that, and that was back in May 16th. So it's kind of interesting to put that one out, but he has wins over Andre Well, Norman Hernandez, Frankie Sanchez, Guido Canelli, like interesting wins over people who are fun to watch as well. But you've also seen with Sugar Sean, there's been the whole thing between him and I want to say it was Cody No Love, where Cody kept saying like, yeah, have him beat a real person and then he can come see me. What's up, Ron? And Cody, like the shit talking that's gone back and forth between the two of them, especially at that last pay-per-view that the two of them were on. I mean, it was mostly them just trying to brag who had the better knockout. And yet that was back at UFC 250. Now at UFC 252, co-main guy, they're trying to build him up. So we'll see. Of course, 25, 27. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch how it plays out. Sugar Sean at 5'11" with that advantage right there, both at 136. And the reach advantage, again, with Sugar Sean at 72 inches to 70.5. We are now about to get to the introductions. And as we do, just making sure. You drinking orange drink? No, not orange drink. I'm not drinking that. This is just, this is water. But it is literally like one of those Mio drinks. It's how I encourage myself to drink more water because I'm a giant child. My boy drinking orange liquid. Like, are you blind? Like, this is not orange. This is like, look at it. That's not orange. That is like a purplish, pinkish one, whatever you want to call it. It's like a strawberry pomegranate one, but no, not orange drink. I do not live in the 1980s, my friend. We have much more options these days. But it's how I make sure that I do a component of water to alcohol. So that way, when I get to, the 7th hour of doing this broadcast, I never just seem entirely dumb. Having said that, it's delicious. So come at me, bro. Anyway, to our friends over on Instagram, hit us up, give us some likes and hearts over on that side. Herb Dean on the call on this one. Very excited. Last few seconds before we switch on over to the action in the octagon. And now we begin to see who's going to win this one. Y'all thought this was going to be close. You had it 55-45 last I saw on the tallies on our show. Here we go. Nice kick that kind of puts him out just a little bit. Switch of stance by Sean O'Malley. This time the braids are super, super tight down. Every time I see him with his rainbow sherbet hair, it makes me think that he is essentially like an 80s cartoon character over here. Sean, decent strikes in. A lot of people, I think, on the votes, though, not only because we're, a California-based show with a lot of fans that train and know Marlon Vera, but you really can't sleep on Marlon as well. Marlon's a savage in his own right. This is really just going to be a test for him to see if he's able to go and keep on up with Sugar's pace and his power. Again, looking over at some of Marlon's losses, he's never been knocked out, never been submitted. Meanwhile, same with the perfect record thus far in of Sugar Sean. And this is where I think a lot of people want to find out, is he who we think he is? Is he the guy who they are expecting? Every time he puts his hands down, he is expecting a reaction out of Marlon. If that takes him out of his realm, that's very easy that he can find those kicks and those punches. And one of the things that you really find with Sugar Sean is when he winds up, it's usually when people aren't paying attention. What is up, IG Melendez? Thank you for watching along. Hope you were enjoying UFC 252. Watch along with us. If not, totally understandable, but we are having a good time thus far in. What is up, Carlos William Reyes? Right now, you got Marlon Vera up against Sugar Sean. 2:55 left to go in this first round. Sugar's been leading on the strikes thus far in. Marlon's starting to get in his first few strikes in right now. IG Melendez, absolutely love hearing that, man. Sugar for a split second gets out of his stance and steps upright entirely. Just looking at him, inviting him to kind of come in. There's a little bit of a bait there, but I think Marlon's kind of reading it nicely. Sets in a kick to just create a little bit of distance and create a little bit of problem. Now Sugar looks like he was actually loading up his arm as to telegraph it, as to say like, hey, dude, I can load this up at any time you want me to. Sugar keeps showing a nice little handle on his right hand every time, quickly stutter stepping. Looks like he's trying to make Marlon commit to something. Marlon backs away for a split second, now circles back to him. 156. It says, have you played UFC 4 yet? I have not, Woods. Should I? Or is that setting up a comment? I'm not sure yet. Now Sugar catches a kick. Interesting. It's about the third or fourth kick that Sugar has been able to catch outside. Sugar steps in. Marlon kind of gives a little signal as to be like, yo, man, we kicking each other in the ear now, or what are we doing? It was a good return. Almost looked like a kick straight over to the knee. Sugar kind of eats it. No big issue there. Kind of lets himself become a target here. This is very interesting. Evasive maneuvering by him, but it's not one that's keeping him really in any trouble here. It's just kind of keeping him within the range of being hit. Marlon coming in with a few good strikes of his own, but Sugar, I think, is maybe just trying to get a feel of his energy, or just trying to figure out, like, hey, man, where are we going to coexist? In the counter after the slight clinch, comes in with 2 overhand rights. 3-4 is now starting to come in, as you're seeing Marlon Vera starting to cover up. Now you, for a split second, see Sugar loses his balance. And Marlon trying to go over, and Herb has called an end to this, and it looks like Sugar is affected here. The real question is, what did it to him? He is in pain, and I can't tell what it is just yet. O'Malley's leg is taking him out. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. I'm going to need to get on over. Marlon Vera is, I guess, going over, climbing the cage, which is nice showmanship for absolutely no reason for an audience here. It's more just showmanship for Dana, is what I'm guessing here. So, Cheeto. So there was an elbow there, but I need to hear exactly what the injury was here. Oh. So there's a moment where Sugar Sean, in the middle of an exchange between the two, tried to plant on a foot, was not able to do it well, shifts over, and it does look like his shin is really fucked up right now. It says, Carlos William Reyes says, nice t-shirt. Thank you. I would rather be rolling, honestly. Oh no, I see it now. Oh, it's right at the beginning. Oh, he was trying to plant his foot, and it slipped, and then once he slipped, he wasn't able to keep weight on it, and then when it gave out on him again, it was fucked up. God, man. Terrible to see, but this is a great opportunity for Marlon Vera, man. Good for him. Bad roll. Yeah. Wow. So we have some people. I have a friend who just put up a post that just said hype train derailed. I like the fact when people put their personal opinions on saying, like, ooh, the injury, man, that hype train's derailed. It's like, I don't know, man. That's still a pretty impressive guy. I don't really know that we have any more information out of this. What's up, everybody? Sorry about that slight break on the telecast. We are now back on. Thank you very much on Instagram for being patient. I don't know why it just killed itself on a stream. But yes, we are back up. And it says they even gave him the Connor shorts. No, you stop it, dude. Like that. No, I know you aren't. Clearly. Okay, I like that. One of my friends is like, stop it. Hype train derailed. Oh. Anyway, time to educate the kids. We just finished yelling at him, and now we're back. Hey, everybody on Instagram. Glad you're joining us. And yes, came out in the Connor shorts. I mean, what are you going to do, dude? At a certain point, you try to build up your stars, and the UFC would have loved if that would have been the case. What is Alex Fidel Garcia? Super stoked to have you guys joining us. We are on the last of our fights right now. Super stoked for the way that this is going to play out. We're about to see some interview right now, which hopefully, it'll be interesting to hear how they call this one, at least in the whatchamacallit, the post-fight syndrome. So Joe Rogan is now telling Marlon that he thought that he got robbed in that last fight. And now Joe is talking with him. So he's now crediting him and saying, hey, congrats to you. So Marlon is now going on and giving a lot of love on this. A lot of people were saying that he was going to be counted out and that Joe is asking him, what does it feel like to get the win? Marlon says he has an immigrant mentality. He's coming through. Good for him, dude. He says he's got 3 kids he needs to feed. And now he's giving him credit and saying, hey, that mission was successful here tonight. So now Joe is asking him, did you recognize that he was injured? So he said, if you're going to kick with a kicker, make sure you're ready for a kick. So Marlon is saying, hey, listen, my foot always hurts. And he was taking the first round to see what he's got, and he's like, good for him. And he says that the dog he has inside is bigger than the dog everybody else has. So and so now he's giving credit and saying, man, he's feeling really, really good. Sugar Sean will be back. Absolutely, man. Bryce Mitchell will be the next big star. They're trying, man. They're building him up too. So I would like to see that. Bryce is very fun to watch as well. It says from moving the couches to moving the rug to bantamweight contention. I don't think Anik thought that one through. All right. This is why I don't listen to commentary there. Apparently they are still trying to get Sugar Sean for an interview right now. I don't know that they're going to be able to land that. I don't know that he's going to want to talk, if I'm being honest. All right. Well, it looks like they're slowly starting to move on. All right. That's one of the interesting things that I find about that. I'm going to want to see how he discusses that injury, what it is that he saw, I don't know. It was just crazy to see it. But seeing the rolling of that foot just fucking is heartbreaking. What is up, C. Neist woman? Man. Let me see. Take a smoke break, Anik. I know, man. It's rough to watch sometimes. Either way, if you guys give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will give you a toast on the air, which I guess means we have to give a toast to Marlon Vera. So we'll take care of that. But I'm just waiting to see if they are going to talk with Sugar Shane O'Malley, and it does not look like they are. So at least at the moment. In which case, I will go ahead and take a moment to congratulate Marlon Vera. So this cheers goes out to you, Marlon Vera. Man, what a great moment for you. Not only were you able to get in with a nasty elbow, dude, but you kept calm, you kept composed, you got in there, you showed us what the fuck you're all about, man. and you tell us, there's a dog inside of you that wants a fight, you've got it, dude. Congrats to you. Super stoked for it. And this cheers goes out to you. Cheers. This note comes from friend of the show, Korean Zombie, who says, pretty sure I'm crushing it. I'll be checking post show. I like that he clearly knows that I'm on air right now, but I do appreciate the update from one Dan Hubler, who's never short on telling me how much he wins at betting on things. Oh my God, look at that. Yes, as I was saying before, if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will make sure to give you a toast on air, just like we did for one Marlon Vera, who, man, proved us that he's the real deal and that we do need to pay more attention to him. And as we're looking at this right now, we see Paulo Costa getting ready to take most of his steroid juice to take on one Israel Adesanya, wearing his goddamn weird Coke dealer Ricky Martin shirts. Bless him. I think he should go dressed up as USADA for Halloween. I just think that's a funny play on words and play on what the real expectations of him are. All right, fans, friends, hit us up in the comments. Who's winning this? Are we going immigrant mentality or are we going fat kid wants a cake? It says, I'd rather see Vera do an interview with Raf than any interview with Ariel on Monday. I mean, me too, man. We do know some of the same people, though. So it's possible. It's not out of the realm that I would get an interview with Marlon, but I think he will be fairly hit up, especially after that win. But in due time, my friend, we got to continue to build up people slowly but surely. But I think we've been waiting to find an opportunity. One of the things I used to like about having similar friends and being in the same region was that I could go drive to them and I could go do the interviews with them in person. Can't really do that right now. It's not really a thing. But in due time, what is up, MTZ 421? Super stoked you are joining us. Looks like they only have 4 fights announced for Saturday, September 26th. Hope y'all will be watching it. And yeah, I think we're gonna probably find our way to giving some kind of interview with some of these guys coming up soon. We'll see. Carquera France versus Royale actually looks like a decent fight too, now that I think about it. Izzy is, again, they've been putting a lot of effort into him to make sure he's going to be the next thing. What is up, Kent Ramsey? You are coming in just in time to watch Daniel Cormier along with us possibly retire. I don't know. Growing up as a pro wrestling fan, you never take the word retirement seriously in any combat sport. That's why when people like Chael Sonnen refuse to go back and forth on their retirement, you just kind of go, yeah, sure, whatever. Whatever you say, guy. You retired today? Because if so, awesome. If not, I'll live. But, we tend to have a pretty good sense of humor about the whole thing. Anyway, I would like to know, though, who do you think is winning it? If you don't mind talking to me in the comment section, telling me who you think is going to win, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear why, I guess the other reason is. Because that's something that we haven't heard too much of tonight, which is, why are you going this way? But yes. All right. Looks like they are in the final preparation stage for bringing out Stipe in DC. Oh. So that means now we got to kill some more time, and it's 9:11, which means we will actually end relatively nicely on this broadcast. Mostly because the UFC was down several fights due to some changes, and they had to modify as a result of COVID and their situations. And then, of course, they had, even with the fights that they do have on tonight, which was 11, they had to modify 2 of them because of weight cuts. So those became cash weight fights. You know, in the age of COVID, I kind of get it. I don't love it normally, but you know, it's not the worst. So what you might see on your social media right now is going to be every person that has ever done wrestling saying, let's go DC. Because that's what they do. Just saying. But I'm super glad that you guys are joining us. And I, again, would love for you guys to chime in your comment section. Tell us who you think is going to win. We've got a hell of a fight, though. This is going to be crazy to see the potential end of Daniel Cormier's long historied and storied career. And we get to watch it all together here, kids. This is a double champ-ish, you know? I mean, it's kind of hard to do with the John Jones situation. It's a very, very weird situation. But you can't deny the fact that he has been around, my friends. You can't deny the fact that even his Strikeforce career was always super impressive. This dude was always a monster. What's up, Justin? Thank you for your likes. If you give us a like and a share, I will give you a toast, sir. So just to remind you, don't sleep on us, much like many of you did on Marlon Vera. Look at that. See? Connection. Ideas. Oh, man. It is crazy to think that this is also a fight that's happening in an empty octagon. Like, this is a fight that I think would be interesting to continue with the fans. And I feel like part of the reason why DC likes being in this situation is that he does play up well to the crowd. So it's going to be harder to say. And I do tell people that after you get to the age of 35, you know, times like COVID aren't quite the same. Like they don't, you don't get a sense of how good a fighter is when they have to take so much time off. DC's weight looked better than it normally did, which is great to see. But Stipe's right in there, man. So they're about the same size. And on this one, you look out, yeah, obviously he knocked out Stipe, but then Stipe being able to come back and get a whole story of his own is impressive in his own right and shows the kind of caliber of champ that he was. So I don't know who y'all got in the main event. Is me putting a question to y'all. Answer if you would be so kind. I love getting you guys to let us know and to hit us up in the comment section. It is one of our favorite aspects about doing this live is we hear directly from you. It doesn't take us that long, just literally within seconds. So don't forget, let us know on all of our apps. Let us know wherever you're watching. We love getting your guys' insight, and it is money. All right. I think we're about to see the last walk after they do 29 hours of promotional video material to get y'all pumped up for this last time. It says Boney, that's from Bones himself, says, you boys ready for blood? Which is so weird. Bryce Mitchell, actually, Dane, just tweeted out, hate to see injuries, get well, Sugar Sean, which is kind of nice. But I like Walt Harris saying, Stipe and DC, I'm going to let y'all finish, but I can't wait for Izzy and Paulo, OMG. Wow. I might butcher this one, but this is with Greg Rosenstein, who says, no joke, I'm watching UFC 252 with a foot doctor. Here's what he just told me. I guarantee it. He broke his styloid process of his 5th metatarsal on his right foot. Crazy. Okay. I mean, it's cool when you have those experts. DC coming in with his jacket like a goddamn cape right now. Like, he's not walking in as a UFC fighter right now. He's essentially walking in as a Batman villain. Now, actually, this is the DC that takes on Spider-Man in like a back alley somewhere. And he's still making the run out. He's not doing his last walk. He's doing his last jog. And his crew is just like super tattered behind him. What's up, Christopher Might? Thank you for joining along. Hope you're having a great day. We're getting ready for the main event. Stipe, DC. It's about to go down, fam. Last walk for DC. I mean, last walk. Let's see what money Dana throws at him. And let's see what this performance looked like. Because if he doesn't look good here tonight, Dana's going to be like, yeah, he's retired. I always said he should retire. And it's like, no, Dana would 1,000,000% be like, I always said he should fight John Jones. Dana always says whatever he didn't always say. Like, that's as easy as you can tell on those things. So either way, good for him. He's got a storied career that he should be very proud of. And doesn't matter what happens here tonight, he's still going to be a UFC legend. He will not, however, be a Michael Jordan or a Peyton Manning, which was a hilarious thing to see him tell the press this week. Like, I think, is he not with AK? I don't see Javier. No, you see him. You're good. I think one of the hardest things that I understand for great athletes to do is to always shoot for that top spot and to justify their presence within their minds. But sometimes when they get asked a question, they're like, well, I'm essentially up there with Peyton and, like Michael Jordan. And you think about it and you go, nobody was putting you in that. Fuck Craig Jones. Look at that. Beautiful account name. And then when DC has to do it, it's just like, dude, you have to be the one talking yourself up. There are certain guys that have to talk themselves into being the GOATs without actually being the GOATs because they get tired that people aren't talking enough about them. And it is both a marketing trick and one that is used as a form of self-projecting. It's just the rest of us hearing other athletes that transcended the sport. It is a hard pill to swallow. Like, they don't make DC Under Armour rash guards. They don't make commercials with DC selling Peytonville for insurance companies. Like, DC is excellent in his own right, an amazing element and member legend in our sport. But, no. What he can lean on, though, is his record, because that's pretty fucking fantastic. And win or lose against Stipe tonight, I think he should be just fine. I think that's kind of why I'm going for him to lose. But let's talk about where you guys felt on this one, because you guys definitely had an opinion on it. And it'll be interesting to see. Again, sometimes it's not by a ton of a margin, but by enough where we get to talk about what you guys feel going into this fight. Right here, 60% of responders are going for Stipe, while only 40% are going for DC. So that is an interesting statistic to have going up here tonight, especially on the Last Dance for one. I mean, Last Dance, we'll see. If they throw him a whole bunch of money. I had one of my friends send me a note that said, you know what? I was going to go for Stipe until I saw what a hipster he's become. I just can't do it. To each your own, guys. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to run your life, but still pretty funny. So let me see here. Yeah, lots of tweets. I'm seeing one right now from Forrest Griffin who says, I am nervous. Is that weird? Stipe Miocic has the most no bullshit walkout in the UFC. That's pretty agreed on that one. So John Bones Jones has also chimed in and says, no way you can go out with a loss in an empty arena. And then Cheeto Rivera says, doubt me now. Say I can't. Say I won't. I dare you. I'm coming for anybody in the top 10, top 15. Good for him. That's awesome. All right, let's keep the information and mode back on the gents in the octagon. And let's see what happens here. A nice shake of hands over to one Stipe Miocic. DC making his rounds back and forth, pacing around. Gets a last drink of water right now. Well, this is going to be interesting, kids. Stipe looks mean or lean. Yes, I think so too, man. All things considered, I mean, DC's lower in weight than he normally is. but at 6'4" and 80, Jesus. What's up, CRNI Rules and Grapple Apparel? Great to see you guys joining us. We are about to watch Stipe and DC go to battle for the third and last time. Bruce Buffer is making the introductions right now. Let's see how this plays out, guys. I like the Forest says, is it weird that I'm nervous? Ben Folk says, Stipe's hair is the star of UFC 252 so far. Out here looking like just woke up, and I love it. Yeah, Mark Ramondi is also pointing out Stipe Miocic is shredded. Dude looks fantastic for this third fight. All right. I like this. We are now about to watch this last portion of it. If you guys give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will make sure to give you a cheers, a toast right now. And we want to make sure that we are doing that with everybody. I'm just going to double check to make sure I got everybody. I think we did Jairzinho. We did Sugar Sean's loss to Marlon Vera. We did that one. And we also did Danny. You guys need to remind me if we did Danny. That's the one I'm only not 100% certain on. What is up, Jenny? Thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate all of you guys who are following us. New followers, new and old, makes me feel super happy to see. That's why we do these. We meet new friends. We get to chat for a good while. It's a whole excursion, my friends. And I could not be happier that you guys are here joining us for the tail end of DC's career as they dim the lights and he gets his last shadow box in on his corner. But on this one, I'm rooting Stipe on this one, kids. I like DC just fine, but let's go immigrant mentality. And let's see how we feel on this one. Oh, man. All right. DC looking mean. Looking at this camera like he's taking out every bit of angry energy anybody has ever said on him. While at the same point, Stipe just looks very calm. I think Stipe has that look like, man, I got to put you away, man. Look at this. Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering what Stipe was going to look like, but even though he's been doing all this, even though he's been doing like working nonstop as a first responder during this pandemic, I feel like Stipe has really underplayed how much training he's been. So it's either doing all of that work, which understandable would keep him in shape, but not like this. I think he's been training on the sly, and they've just been pumping up DC's training a lot more. All right, the real question is, are we going to see DC go in, try and take him down on this one? Going out with a win, don't care about that. That's a stupid thing for him. He wants it. I don't really care either way. I would rather see Stipe be the future for a little bit longer and carry this division to even higher heights. What's up, Cody? Here we go. Round one about to go down. 3, 2, 1. Here's how we start. Two of the gentlemen circling one another. Daniel Cormier, direct center. First strike over by Stipe. A nice leg kick over to Daniel Cormier's lead leg. And this is interesting because, again, both of these guys have knocked one another out, so they will have some respect for each other's power. DC has other weapons. When DC wants to get in there and wrestle, it can be very, very good for him. It could be very, very useful. The question is, when does he put that in? When does he decide he wants to make that an issue? In that last fight, it was not there. And now Stipe already starting to use the reach a little bit. Gets jabbed to establish distance. Rocks DC just a little bit back. Nothing too crazy. DC throws a kick that just doesn't go anywhere. Stipe responds with a kick of his own. Nice punch over by Stipe with the right hand. over to the midsection. Man, what a great thing. Stipe knows on that one. Keep that liver shot there. Now DC using that wrestling, working to get him up. Kind of has a guillotine, but it's not really a guillotine. He's just using it to push him up against the cage. And now he might use this as an opportunity to get in a couple knees. Stipe doing his best to kind of hold things off here. Not quite a 2-on-1. Back over to the liver. Now DC trying to get this like weird ass guillotine that's just not 100% there. It's just it's a strong front headlock control that he's got, which is very hard to do against somebody who has that much reach on you. Stipe is able to get out of it, circles out, 3 minutes left. Continues to punch at the midsection here. Front Leonidas kick right there. Nothing there for him. What's up? Hope you guys are enjoying UFC 252. I'm just doing some play-by-play for you guys just in case you don't have it, or if you need some results, or you want some yucks as you are watching along with me. Both of the gentlemen have been able to show a little bit of what they do thus far in. DC with a little bit of wrestling and grappling control, and Stipe using his reach, both things that we know are weapons that both of them have utilized in previous fights. Now DC coming in with a nice chop to the leg. That is one way to help out with the height advantage over here. Thanks. I don't have the fight. That is from Ernest Russell. That's what I got you. I got you, fam. Don't worry. I'm going to walk you through as much as I possibly can on this one. And it is an interesting, not tepid affair, but this is a decent first round strike that you see over from Stipe, who keeps targeting that liver section, what seemed to prove very fruitful for him in that first fight. A lot of jabs to that stomach. Only problem is this time DC's a little bit more weary, and he does come in each time and bring in we have a little bit of a illegal blow for a split second. I can't tell if it was a kick to the lower section or if it was, yeah, I think it's a lower section one. Let's see. No, it's an eye poke again. God damn it, DC. Jesus. Every goddamn time, DC. This is why we can't have nice things. No, doctor. Someone explained to this doctor we just had coronavirus and we need this fight because it's all we have. Doc's looking over and you are seeing Stipe wince and just walk back and forth, and he's not looking happy about it. That's not good. Okay, now he's saying he's back in. I think he was just shrugging it off a little bit, but they could have been asking, like, how do you feel? And he's like, not great. Dude fucking poked me in the eye. How do you think I feel? And they return. Well, let's hope that doesn't affect Stipe too much. What's up, Batman's second cousin? It's a funny name. Now, DC going back to the leg kicks over on Stipe. Stipe's going to have to need another minute and a half in this so that he can get back to a corner and maybe see a little bit more on where his eye is. Every time we see here, though, Stipe going back to the stomach, back to that midsection with DC. Comes in with a kick of his own, which good for him. Very nice. DC trying to rush in on that one. Stipe ducks it off, throws him a little bit more off here. Now, again, going back to the midsection again, all the success here now, using his reach, pops open the neck. It's very nice targeting by Stipe over at this point. DC's going to come and try and rush it in, make things a little bit uneasy for Stipe. Returns with a couple jabs of his own, which very nicely there. And now DC's doing a great job of trying to grab the back of the neck to pull him in. DC almost gets swatted away by Stipe for just a split second there. Stipe putting in a nice combination over here. DC covering up nicely. Last 20 seconds of this first round. In the first round, the total strikes are 25 for Miocic and 8 for DC. So it is very interesting to see. DC kind of rocks Stipe, but not enough to bring him down. It just kind of bounces off the cage. That's going to be a good wake-up call to Stipe, who's now eating a little bit of these strikes as we go now to a second round. Both men had very strong showings in that first round. DC should be feeling a lot more confident in his ability to get a takedown when he needs to and to keep his jab working consistently throughout that fight. He has been very solidly putting it on Stipe. Meanwhile, Stipe continuously is finding that midsection, but more importantly, he was doing that as a way to differentiate his strikes. Not only was he in the midsection, but he also was finding great success starting to use his reach midway through that fight. And that is a huge component of his game. That first kind of liver shot that affected DC in that first encounter and that second encounter is a very, very primal thing that I'm pretty sure he's trying to bring there. What's up, Quentin? Good to see you, bud. But that last little kind of like knock around, it didn't knock him out, didn't knock him senseless, but it did wake back up Stipe. Good fight thus far in. If you are going by strikes, you are probably going to look at Stipe winning that first round. There's not enough wrestling or grappling control to give in combination for DC to have a significant amount on that one. What's up, Beast on the mats? So telling you guys right now, we're in round 2, 4:48 on the clock at the moment. Glad you guys are watching along. Hope you are enjoying this. This has been a very solid, intense first round. DC has been consistent on trying to chop away at the legs of Stipe Miocic. And now it looks like for a split second, DC kind of got kicked to the midsection. And the referee starts him back up. Back over center, which might have been really nice for DC. God, talk about great moments in DC's career. Oof, Stipe not starting to slow down there. For a split second, ramped it up, and DC looked like he was not really ready for that. Now Stipe is going to do kind of a very chop block takedown that he knows DC will be ready for, but I think he's using it as an opportunity to maybe mix him up a little bit, maybe kind of throw him off. Ernest, you were asking who won the round. In my opinion, Stipe won round 1. Though we should find out how that comes in. Really nice set of strikes over there by DC. It says 10-9 DC. DC, but close from Brett Nakamoto. These guys are not looking at my same thing. Even though they're looking probably at that one strike from DC toward the end of that round. Even though he put together a nice set of shots, I still feel that Stipe's are just a little bit more ahead. And there wasn't enough control in that grappling session, so I don't really see a 10-9 for DC on that one. Now, DC starting to work the body a little bit. Now, here's an interesting thing. I'm finding that Stipe has done an excellent job of starting his strikes, working a combination in the middle of it, while not quite in a clinch, but kind of like a makeshift one, and then releasing to let DC out as if to see, okay, does that stagger him? Every time he does that, he gets a good sense of, all right, what do I need to do? Because if I keep going on the inside and pushing it, DC's going to clinch with me, and he's going to try and take me down. It's a very interesting strategy from him thus far in. Stipe continuing with his own series of kicks, maybe establishing the distance. Both of these guys looking very solid. 2:30 about to come up right now on my clock. And you are seeing still very composed DC, which is nice to see. You know, a lot of people will talk about what is DC going to do for the takedowns. I would assume he's saving that for the next couple of rounds. When you fight for all of these 5-round fights, you don't really lead off with the takedowns unless you're absolutely certain that you won't have any problems with it. I think with Stipe, I think he kind of expects that with DC, and that the takedown will probably come towards the later parts of the fight, especially when you only have so many takedowns in your gas tank at a certain point. Nice lean, duck away for a split second. DC's connecting a little bit more in this round, which is very nice. Even when Stipe seems to be getting the better of it, DC is countering much nicer on these, and his movement is looking really solid on this. There's a little bit of movement by Stipe that's making me pretty happy here. Whenever he finds himself in trouble, he is slowly starting to move. And for a split second, he almost looked like he was going to trip up DC on that one. DC plants his foot in, and now you're going to see DC try some of that dirty boxing. He's not going to be able to get much time to it because Stipe kind of breaks away from it. DC over with a left, though. Jab finding its pace on Stipe. Very nicely done. DC putting together a nice combination. Stipe pulling back for a split second right now. Between the two of them, this is looking like a stronger round for DC. I would make more of the argument he might be winning this round as opposed to Stipe. I'd love to see the stats on that one as well. If anything, the success of how DC is finding in this round is he's just insisting on finishing his combinations. He's not just hitting once, he's finding a good series that he's able to punch even when he's being put under pressure here. It's really impressive to see. What is this? BJJ Shutter. Thank you for watching along. We're finding out how this third match between Cormier and Stipe is playing out, and DC is at 22-18 right now, and that is on significant strikes within the second round. I think it is starting to show because a lot of these have looked really good. That was a really nice shot to the body there by DC. Oh, Stipe coming in, putting DC under pressure. Referee waiting to make this there and make it a call. But DC just clinching on for life, which may allow him to make it into a third round, which is insane because he was on Dream Street there. Oof, he is rugged right now. He is feeling it. That was not very good for him. Wow. He's hurting in his corner right now. That is going to be a rough moment for him to come back from. He is looking really daisy. Okay, wow. I need details. Okay, Ernest, here's what happened toward the end of that. You saw Stipe starting to press up against him, pushed him up against the cage. As Stipe went to go almost into a mount, he was not able to get a full mount there. Instead, it was kind of just pressed up like he was pushing his body into him with the cage. Then you saw DC grab around his waist as to not let him move any further and to seem like he was protecting himself. But when he got rocked, and this is all off of a right hand that he was doing at an angle that looked beautiful and started chasing him down, just looking at the way DC looked, half of his life started to look depleted there. It'll be interesting to see how much he was able to come back. We now go to a third round. DC looking a little bit better here, but that was not a very good sign for him, especially in a round that he should have been winning. Ooh, all right. And DC looking a little bit more cautious in this one. 4:45 on my clock right now. If things didn't pick up before, you are seeing now Stipe start to put it on DC, whose punches and response time are just a little bit soggier than they were before. Finds a nice jab over here. What's up, old lady jiu-jitsu? We are now in the third round of the fight, the championship fight. Nice high kick by Stipe. And what you're seeing is not only is Stipe finding the angles a little bit better in this round, you are also seeing him start to make DC lose the ability to block some of these shots, which before has been hugely problematic for him. DC responds. He's trying to fight back in. Now you almost saw a knee from Stipe. DC kind of roughs it out, but he's still looking a little staggered here. I mean, DC is very much still trying to fight his way through it, and you are seeing Stipe now starting to realize he needs to act and put it on DC. Excellent work by both of these gentlemen. Stipe now not accepting some of these and feeling a little bit more of a lifeless DC, pushing him up against the cage, which normally wouldn't be an easy thing to do. It says DC needs to take him down. I would agree with you right there, except for one thing. I don't think DC knows where he is 100% at this moment. DC is just trying to hang in there so that he can get his energy back. And I feel like that's why you're seeing a little bit more urgency out of Stipe, who has been thus far way more relaxed, controlled, and even when he was getting pieced up in that second round, wasn't overdoing it. He was just taking those fucking hits. But here's the weird part. If you let DC hang out on that back of that cage for too long, you let him back into it. DC hands are back up. Now Stipe feeling the rush of momentum. 3 minutes left in the third round. It is looking very nerve-wracking for, I think, all parties involved. Just even feeling how Stipe is just seeing his movement in right now. It's good, But now you see that time against that cage might have actually given DC a little bit of energy back. He's going back into instinct mode. And that is one thing you do have to say about the double champ in his career, is that he has always been a fighter who has just come out and been really, really savagely somebody who fights to the best of his ability. So we'll see. If he makes it to a fourth round, I think that is what you're going to see from him. You're going to see his corner say, hey, listen, we know you needed to take that round off, but we're going to need a takedown from you. 2:14 left to go. Stipe trying to utilize a little bit of octagon positioning here and rendering just exhausting DC, in some ways almost useless, using some of these shoulder shrugs. You're seeing DC almost like he's just hanging on to Stipe Miocic. He's trying to hit him with some of these shots, and they don't look great. Stipe has handcuffed DC's right arm, and I think due in part to maybe keeping it so that he can't get his grappling controls in on any of this. Stipe now in with double underhooks on DC, which does not look great. And if anything, it's now opening him up to start to hit him in the midsection with a couple of these knees. This is kind of an interesting strategy from Stipe. It's one that is mostly just using his body weight to create as an extra form of something that DC has to carry so that he really brings him into exhausted waters. This might be the most proactive thing that he can do for rounds 4, which, as we were talking about, keeping him from finding those takedowns, which exhaust him. DC looking not too bad, all things considered, with his hands up, throws a leg kick himself in return to Stipe. 58 seconds left in this third round. This very solid fight, connects with the chin on Stipe from a very nice setup from DC right there. This has been a very, very good fight. And it is so interesting to see the resilience and how much DC is fighting back through all of this. Because, I mean, especially when you look at that last round, that did not look great. DC coming in with a kick. Again, low kick on the leg, nothing too much crazy there. So yeah, this is where I think Stipe wants to understand on these latter parts of these long rounds before we get into the end of a very tough series for the two of them. DC is now starting to look at the ref as to say, like, hey man, I mean, I kind of got poked in the eye. Are you going to do something? And he's like, no, dude, you didn't get poked in the eye. Now he's starting to kind of whine over to the referee as if like, hey man, how are you going to not do the whole thing where you tell him that I poked him or he poked me? How's DC's conditioning looking? It's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, it has to be effective in one way because he's still in this fight. And that's a pretty blatant eye poke. So I totally get where Stipe may have fucked up on that one. So yeah, but you know what though, DC, you eye poke him more than anybody else. So I don't have too much sympathy on that. To answer your question, I'm a little nervous for him in terms of how his stamina feels all there. He is still clearly in the fight. He's connected well a couple times with Stipe, but just in terms of energy drain, he looks depleted but not out. I think that is the most accurate way I can put it. So we'll see what he's able to do here. And oh fuck yeah, I don't think he can see out of his left eye right now. Ugh. Fourth round, championship rounds. Ooh, okay. DC covering up, a little bit more timid now. Kick by Stipe. Return kick by DC. Another kick by DC over. 2 series of kicks by DC. Nothing really there to write home about, but he does find an overhand right that does seem to connect, at least on the shoulder, to one Stipe Miocic. Now DC trying to return in kind with his own jabs to the stomach. It was a tough-ass fight, guys. It says DC's right eye is totally messed up. That's from Ariel Hawani. And it does look like Edmund Shavazarian says he's still got it 2-1 for Stipe, but DC definitely still in it, though. And I would agree with that assessment. And more importantly, DC tells Mark Goddard toward the end of the round that Miocic poked him in the eye. Goddard says, fight on. Replay shows it was indeed a eye poke. Now look at this. Again, Stipe utilizing that cage and double unders on DC. So when we talk about the conditioning, normally a DC that is like in the fight is not going to let someone just get double unders on them. So that does kind of throw me a little bit in terms of his overall energy, but Stipe doing an excellent job here of continuously making DC feel exhausted. Kawika says that eye poke. I mean, hey, listen, don't eye poke unless you expect to get eye poked. That's been the moral of the story. We have seen DC do that numbers of times to one Stipe Miocic. So I just think it's unfortunate at this particular time and juncture. But man, it'd be a shame if that actually ruins portions of the fight. But still, even in this though, DC's coming in with some good shots. He does look like he's kind of putting it on Stipe in this round, but Stipe is probably going to look to turn it on, I'm sure. One of the things that have been interesting, he's got those double unders, and now is trying to rush DC back over to the cage and doing an excellent job of keeping him stuck there. This has been the whole story of the fight thus far in, is the amount of control that Stipe has been able to do. And this is the first time that I've seen DC able to fight back with him on that, and instead getting a nice uppercut that doesn't fully even connect on this. DC tries to respond with an uppercut of his own. It is 2:15 left in this fourth round. And before, DC would just hang and chill there. And part of me wondered if he was trying to use that as an opportunity to get some steam back into him, or if he was literally just that out of it. Oof. Savage overhand right by Stipe. Return with a nice overhand right by DC as well. I mean, this is the fight that you guys wanted to see. This is about as good as you're going to make it. DC kind of comes in with a leg kick, doesn't really do much to Stipe as he kind of misses it entirely. Now you're seeing DC try to utilize a little bit of his wrestling, and goddamn, this is an effective strategy. The minute DC looks like he wants to come in for a takedown, what's up, Tim? You see Stipe come in with a forum of justice and just literally pushes him over and over to that cage side. It is a nice way of saying, I don't got no time for your goddamn wrestling, DC. So I will tell you this. After what we're seeing here tonight, it is the most likely win or lose you would ever see DC come to retiring, because I think that getting poked in the eye and batted around to the point where at the end of the second you didn't look like you were there anymore, and yet you're still able to fight, and the exhaustion that you must feel, yeah, you might be done with this game, and understandably so. So here we go, win or lose. DC now getting put back up against the cage with Stipe controlling the right wrist, and that has been one of the other secret weapons of Stipe, has been continuously controlling here. I think he knows he might not always be able to win the stand-up portion of the grappling, but at the very least, if he makes it really uncomfortable and uses his reach and size a little bit more on DC, that he can at least control him to the point where he's comfortable. DC fighting back with extra vigor right now, which is really nice to see. As we go to the last, he pops a good right hand right now. Tim says, what up, man? Glad you're covering this. I wasn't able to get out and watch them. Don't worry, dude. I got you covered. We're going into the fifth and final round. So, woo. It'll be interesting to see where DC is looking right now on this one. Let me see here. John Jones did chime in and says, John Jones says, I don't think people realize how bad DC's eye is, says the leading eye poke expert of all time. Mark Ramandi writes, what a fight. Again, these men are legends. Ariel Helwani doesn't know how to score fights, so I'm not going to go to him. It says, this fight may come down to this final round because round 4 could have gone either way. Possibly. I don't know, man. That's a tougher one to score. I think when you have the amount of strikes looking very similar in terms of numbers and output, and it's not that different on the energy. You will go to that extra factor of being who's controlling this fight a little bit more, and Stipe is controlling it. So in this one, in that fourth round, it was 30 Cormier on the strikes to 23 for Miocic, but in the third and fourth, it was 34, 43, 26, and 16. So yeah, it's looking dicey, guys. It's going to come down to this last round. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how DC does his last potential round of his fight career. And you did see the two of them exchange kind of a little bit of a bro hug. So it is coming down. What is up, Morgan? Hope you're enjoying the fights right now. It is looking like right now the consensus from a number of people is that it could be 2-2 going into this fifth and final round. I don't know, man. I'm pressed to try and figure it out, especially when you consider that even though DC had more strikes in that fourth round, you did see a little bit more control from Stipe. So it's very dangerously close. I don't feel comfortable enough saying that it's not. And you've seen DC on easy street, especially when times have been rough in this fight, and still fighting his way through it. I mean, it's kind of a nice way. It's the only way it could really be his fight, is that he would have to endure some kind of adversity in his last fight like this. And for the first time, DC was almost able to push him up against the cage, and he gets reversed by one Stipe, who kind of has him at an angle here that's not fully dead set, now pushes him against the cage firmly and fully. Yeah, MMA Fighting is saying Miocic's landing making Cormier miss. Cormier gets a hold of Miocic and takes the fight to the fence, but Miocic quickly reverses position. That has been the tale of the day so far. And I think Stipe knows, hey, man, listen, if this is going to be a close fight, I don't want to let DC find his way back in, because I don't know that the numbers are there for DC. I feel like he's put up a good showing thus far in, but even controls like this, especially when you have refs that tend to favor the champion in many different settings, I think they tend to take that into heavy consideration. So it's going to be an interesting way that they look over at it. Last 2 minutes and 47 seconds of this fight. You said, I hope it doesn't go to a decision. It is looking very likely right now. And I would tell you it is impressive in the sense that both of these guys just don't want to quit, and they think their bodies are coming in. Oh, DC responds very nicely. He's starting to piece up Stipe, who reverses the position and now is pushing DC over to the cage. Now DC maybe start to pummel here. This is all just on like complete experience coming through. DC tries for a little bit of a trip, doesn't get anything there. Stipe returns, gets a knee, and you see DC return with an overhand right of his own. What's up, Garcia Grip? Hope you're enjoying this UFC 252 main event, and it is a good one. And yes, he is starting to stifle, and I mean Stipe starting to stifle DC, making it very, very heavy for him. You see DC probably looking like he wants to complain that, hey, look, this doesn't look like a fight. But I think that this is all done strategically for Stipe, making sure that DC looks very, very, very weak so that he cannot fully connect. And that's what happens when you have guys who really understand every aspect of each other's games. That's really, really impressive. Takedown defense is 5 for 5 for DC. But what's been missing here is Stipe then started to swat him a little bit. This is now getting where the two of them all but look exhausted in this fight. And you're seeing DC start to try to press ahead. And Stipe, he was catching a couple of these punches over on his side. You're seeing DC now almost with a guillotine. Nope, not quite. It's a very strong front headlock. And now he's going to have a few seconds to go ahead and punch over on Stipe in the corner. However, Stipe is not going to live for it for too long. His hands are coming down a little bit now. 59 seconds. This is getting super dramatic here. And I like this. Garcia Grip says, pumped after the Cheeto match, and now Stipe hasn't missed a beat. Absolutely not. This has been a fantastic fight. Stipe reverses position after being charged up against one DC against the cage, and now looks like he's going to be content to be here. And I think DC knows this is it. He's probably trying to put some effort into this guillotine, does not have it. Now instead, Miocic starting to cuff the right hand again, and I think we're looking at the last 30 seconds. This might be enough for Stipe to pull out and continue to be the champ, but it is going to be a more than respectable showing from DC as the last fight of his career. So I would very much applaud both of these gentlemen. And it almost looks like in a certain way, Stipe is kind of saying like, hey, dude, just hang out here, man. I don't want to punch you anymore. I think I'm good just letting you be a bro and leaving you with the final hit. And instead, with a split second left, turns his back against him and just raises his fist when he could have been engaging. Well, you guys are going to have to tell me what you see on this one. I think I see people on here so far saying Stipe looks like he might pick up the win, but of course, stranger things have happened. The doctor is checking over on DC right now, who does look somewhat depleted. So it is understandably so. And yes, Cheeto's match was I don't know what y'all are teaching him down there, man, but when he says don't count him out, he means that shit for a real. So kudos to him. Super stoked to see what is next for Cheeto in this. It says bad eye injury for DC. Yeah, happens. Don't poke eyes, don't get eye poked. That's kind of my approach on that. Even this week, one of my favorite memes was somebody putting up a meme that said, it was quoting DC as he's looking over at Steve, who's wearing those hipster glasses, and he goes, hey, man, I don't care. Those new hipster glasses aren't going to stop me from eye poking you. And the first person eye poke was 100% DC. The only thing that didn't go DC's way on that one was, yes, he also got eye poked back, and the ref did not see it. But, I'm not saying he's John Jones, because John Jones chiming in about eye pokes is like, well, of course, King Eye Poke is going to chime in with his experience on what is a good eye poke. That makes a difference to me. So that's kind of how we're seeing this last little bit happen here, but we are about to get to a decision. I will give you guys the official word here in just a second, but the judges are rendering in their decision. Bruce is announcing it right now. 5 rounds. We go to a judge's scorecard for a decision. Judges scored the contest 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47. Winner and still one, Stipe Miocic. Well, we'll see. And DC has already walked out of the cage, so is feeling probably really bad about that. To our friends over on Instagram, thank you so much for tuning in. We're about to run out on our last few seconds over here, but I'm going to stay on for our friends over on our Facebook, our YouTube, and our Periscope or Twitter. But I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to listen to Verbal Tap this week. We will have the Bolos Bros back on our show to find out who won, and I will be tabulating who won on our giveaway that we did. But I'm going to stick around to hear some of the reactions over on this one. And it is interesting to note, it wasn't 48-47 like some of these guys had on the media. I was kind of still feeling like Stipe had won a number of those rounds, and it does look like I was closer to it than they were. Shows what they know. Anyway, my appreciation to you guys. Also check us out on Grappling Hour this week. We're going to do some interviews with some folks who, obviously at this point, you know what we do. My appreciation for you guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you a little bit later. Woo, okay. For you guys, we're going to wait to find out what Stipe, the champ, still has to say on this very historic moment. But that was an incredible fight, and I really want to make sure that we are complimentary to DC and what he did. It says DC fixing to get some eye surgery. Yeah, I mean, listen, dude, I think DC is going to have to definitely get some Joe Rogan already has Cormier right now, so they did get him first. Yeah, his eye's super fucked up right now. And Joe Rogan is asking what happened in the fight that you did not expect. Daniel Cormier says he can't see. And DC just says he did a good job. He was able to clinch and hold him in the side. And he says he believes that it separated the close rounds. And DC says that he didn't put in the double underhooks in the previous fights. So, and Joe is going to ask about the wrestling. And DC says he was going for some takedowns so that he was able to figure out if it would be something that's accessible throughout the rest of the fights. And DC is really unhappy about that eye, and understandably so. And DC says he couldn't see out of his eye. DC says he can't see anything out of his left or out of his right eye. Or is his left? Yeah. Oh God! So DC saying, yeah, he could understand. He did see that Mark came over to him and apologized. That yes, he did see, and the eye poke was afterwards. DC's now saying it just sucks. And saying it sucks to just lose 2 fights, and it's a very sad position. And he says he'll deal with it like he has dealt with things in the past. And Joe is now asking if it is it, and he's going to say that he's going to talk with his family. When he asked if you're going to come in, he said, I don't imagine fighting for anything but a title. And if that's the case, then that's it. And Joe Rogan is saying it was a great fight and is complimenting him as a champion. And DC just really wants to get out of there. So there is that. Let's see how quickly they take before they get Stipe over to the interview section, which is understandably terrible. So I'm sure that they will probably ask him about that in just a few minutes. Though I do wonder, I don't think the DC is probably going to go to the post presser. I think they're going to get him straight to the over to the hospital with that fucking eye. That's terrible, dude. And we have Stipe over with Joe right now. Stipe takes a moment to comb his hair, and understandably so. We've all been there, dude. They basically asked him, like, how does it feel to be the baddest man in the world, the biggest champion of all time? And he goes, tired. I want to go home. He says nothing really surprised him. And Stipe says he wishes him the best. And he's saying that he hopes his family is good. He hopes his next baby is going to be healthy. Stipe is basically saying, like, normally he kicks more and checks him more, but you know, he said, hey, he got that first takedown, but he didn't wait too long. He got right back up. So Joe is asking, what was the game plan on this fight? So now they're asking, what does winning this rubber match and cementing your history mean to you? And the greatest of all time, they're asking, what does that mean? What happens next for you, sir? He says his game plan is to get up early as shit tomorrow and go see his family. And he says basically he's going to, you know, spend some time just enjoying himself, his family, his victory, and heal up, and his big birthday that he's going to go celebrate. And now Stipe is basically saying, thank you for the fanny pack, which is super nice. All right. Well, wow, what a fight. I think normally we don't really cheers fights that go to a decision, but we'll do this one. We'll give a cheers on over to DC and Stipe Miocic, which was a fantastic fight, start to finish, just excellent done. And more importantly, I think it's a real testament to DC's resolve, his ability to get in there, have a great fight. Just, it's indicative of his whole career. I think it's really cool that you get to see somebody finish, maybe not on the terms that they would have liked to have finished, but it was a hell of a way to go with a fantastic final fight that I think a lot of us will remember as well we do as the record. Records are one thing, but great fights are what you remember. And I think that's one we're going to remember for a long time. Cheers to you, DC. All right. Oh, and I guess cheers to you, Stipe, because you're like the baddest man in the world or something. I don't know how this works. They keep saying you're the baddest man in the world. You don't even act like it. You're just like, I'm just tired. I want to go home. Good for you, bro. Way to break records. Way to do your thing, too. All right. This is as good a time as any to remind you guys, check us out at Verbal Tap. Check us out at Grappling Hour. Check out our sponsors, which are right now No-Gi BJJ gear. And if you go over there, you find some gear that you want to put on. Cool. Put it in your cart. Use the promotional code Grappling Hour 15. Take 15% off whatever you put in there. My thanks to all of you who spent this time watching the fights with us this evening. It is always our pleasure to walk you through the fights, and we look forward to more great things. Look out next week for BJJ Woodstock with our good friend Jordan Jitsu, who's doing that. I think we'll be back here doing some great more fight commentary stuffs for not just the UFC, but maybe I think there's a Third Coast Grappling. I'm not sure when the next one is, but whatever it is, you'll see us back very soon. And you'll see us back with new episodes of Grappling Hour this week, as well as a brand new episode of Verbal Tap, where we will find out who won between Kevin and the Bolo Bros. And we will also be releasing the names of those who ended up winning tonight's UFC Pick'ems. As always, it is a pleasure doing this for you guys. My name is Rafa Esparza. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.